Me spine on me ears. I tell me say good man shot nowadays. She wonder if I live them or live in a cave. And she never know it would have reached this state. So girl take me advice before me go me waist. The best thing me say you fi do I go home go bed. Put on your clothes go on the front page. Any good man you see and them girl friend a case. Grab on pan them, hang on pan them, hold on pan them, a man just get take wet. Lay down pan them, sit down pan them. If I that you better you not make him get wet. More time you have to make some serious decision. Like when a girl have a good man for an exhibition. Wait till she slip and just take her position. Enough man out there in a bad condition. Try not choose one when you're deaf on man mission. 2 not 3 and 1 man are your religion. I wonder where you see a war limited edition. So grab on for them, hang on for them, hold on for them, a man just get take wet. Lay down for them, sit down for them. If I that's the decision.
Back to the future.
Just look at Charlene in that car. Charlene a pretty car. She see me in a Lexus and I die. I know her friend tell me she not stop cry. Say she want piece of me back. Charlene a pretty car. She will see you in a Benz and cry. Just me rude boy, me not tell a lie. She will want piece of your back.
You no dance, no come in, you no know. When you are wine, every man's around you. Girl a broke out on the mid. Girl a wine like them waistline a tread. And your first start dance and some girl start follow you. Harry Sadler, how when you sing? We oh she a wine, she left the world girl a wonder. Draw out the breath, the excuse and the glee. Girl a wine them waist just like a propeller. Keen hot like the cherry. Bumper a bounce and them a bounce down Pamela. Girl them the beat and we dig with the love. Girl a wine on the mid top like a caterpillar. The first start dance and we dance no come in when you no know. When you are wine, every man's around you. Round you. Break out, tell your body in a carny. One day, man, I get you on it.
Back to the future.
Jump up and grab your poo. Break out, you are hear me shiny. Back up on a girl in your Chris Armani. You're barely patient like her and money. Jump up and grab your poo.
But what man says that you can't blame every man for what one man do you. Man deceiving, sliding away woman do. We not do half the things like honor. Like woman sneaking, but what man dance at you. You can't blame every man for what one man do you. Man deceiving, sliding away woman do. We not do half the things like honor.
The woman I want a man from the frontier. Said she doesn't love how me been there. She run with the man for long a good year. Said that they don't know how to change it. She just love how me been there. She run with the man for long a good year. Say that they don't know how to change it.
You no live far from your kitchen. None of your touch but them no missing. Anything you cook finger licking. Whether you steam fish or fried chicken. You no live far from your kitchen. None of your touch but them no missing. Anything you cook finger licking. Whether you steam fish or fried chicken.
Girl, me love the way you whine your body fit the baseline when it go boom.
Back to the future.
Boom, boom. But hold me, girl, cause you know you have no revolt. Zoom, 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 zoom. All of the slim girl, them all of the party. Boom, 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 boom. Go up your glam, you know every day slam you are boom, boom.
I know me tell a boy fit and freak. I carry on like a samurai jeep. And I'll blow me 3 times for the week. Out the street, I swear I'm not it. I know me tell a boy fit too hype. And I'll pop the whole night. And I revolt just like a trail bike. Me nah come in cause me like. Me can't sleep. Me can't get fit doors off. Woman there in me room, I take her clothes off. Me want peace. She in a nightie and pose off. Me did a try lock me hose off. And me can't sleep. Me can't get fit doors off. Woman there in me room, I take her clothes off. Me want peace. In a nightie and pose off. Me could lock me hose off.
When me a talk too soon, long time me a tell them say pants for your room.
Back to the future.
Enter the groom. For you have bedroom and a bathroom. Have your private costume cause
Moschino a number one. But when me check it out, just get tell name brand wow. Versace, my Bogaman. My excellent by the most bad man. Moschino a number one.
Back to the future.
Just get tell name brand wow. Versace, my Bogaman. My excellent by the so much.
Tell you some things, a whole heap of things. A bag of things, a crocus bag of things. Me go chat some things, let you hear some things. A
Back to
bag of
the
things.
future.
Bad man no left them machine too far. You have to ready when the enemy ready for war. Bad man no take a give bad man this scare. And we could not care less who they are. Well, me say bad man no left them machine too far. You have to ready when the enemy ready for war. Bad man no take a give bad man this scare. And we could not care less who they are.
Last night was to not top my head and be come a Rastafari. But the wages of sin to Rasta thing out there. It can't want some careless side. As it was so powerful Rasta man to sit down and cry. Now much the warlord is two sons of King Selassie I. And who said me fight for you, wait for you. Big punch me higher. Them this way young find out who are the real Messiah. Top of them require. Top of me desire. Tell them who you know see now be tired. Cause you're hiding your brimstone and your counter. Cause you're this is my vision cause I don't know. Because you're also
some boy talk so like a them and get the power. When perform them a devour. Eat the girl like them a flower. Sex the girl them by the hour. Make them ball for y'all them adapt. Cool make me line up. Me girl them get them together. Oh some boy diss me when me talk. Me not go rhyme. I told me job me just a sign. I made the girl them want to wine because the DJ now we wine because them can't come touch me style because the DJ now go talk like no Calvin Klein. Oh them a try to diss me when them know we find you here because we run rule the year. The girl them play up in the year. The girl them cheat to we here because the truth away we wear because them know say wicked man a Rasta man we not go fear. But as the world come man, somebody tell me now. As the world come man, go out to president. As the world come man, somebody tell me now. As the world come, the world come. As the world come man, please tell
Back
me
to the
now.
future.
As the world come man, me really want to know. As the world come man, as the world come.
If a girl want beg you, you fi take care and no make them laugh, yeah.
Serious thing.
Just show me what you want and them bow make me get fish off, yeah.
Secret for your wow, it's I kill them with the know. Just make a boy know you're not blow. It's I kill them with the know. Tell them say Vegas say so.
A girl a try to take your space, but just tell her say take it easy, cheesy. But she want come grip on for your man, but tell her take your time. So I like that.
So the bad come here with your galley trend, just ease up, breeze up. You get to get but no they are road again, just ease up, breeze up. Children don't get me, know you want look me friend, just ease up, breeze up. Me tell you no I see you come back again. Just ease.
It's a big cheating. Oh no no. Skibidi-boo-doo-boo-doo. Oh no no no. Oh no no no. Oh no no. Skibidi-bada-bada-bada-bang-bang-dang-dang-dang. Girl, if you're fed up with your boyfriend, let him go. Or your boyfriend a naga-naga, let him go. 'Cause every night him come in, ning-ning-ning in your ears, and you know say your ears him a ears. Girl, if your man not do it right, let him go. And him come in and a white boy, let him go. 'Cause every night him come in, ning-ning-ning in your ears, so you know say your ears him a ears.
Yeah, 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 yeah. When the traffic stop out there. Yeah, 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 yeah. When the traffic stop out there. Traffic blocking. Gyal a come down in her tights and stocking. Watch our hairstyle whopping, whopping. And the dress code ever shocking, shocking. Serious thing. Traffic blocking. Gyal a come down in her tights and stocking. Watch our hairstyle whopping, whopping.
Back
And
to
the
the
dress
future.
code ever shocking, shocking.
Somebody just poop. Nobody know want it. Everybody just a look. Coulda what that me smell. Whoever that be, me say them not going well. Somebody just poop. Nobody know want it. Everybody just a look. Coulda what that me smell. Whoever that be, me say them not going well.
All you see them a go like them run the place. All them a run and them come lost in a them race. All them a come and go like bad boy too. Them a who we do. Hard-tone character. Yeah. Mickey Mouse the time they walk up. Hard-tone character.
Back to the future.
Hard-tone character. Yeah. Donald Duck the time they walk up. Hard-tone character. Yeah. Turn the page and start a new chapter.
You brush your teeth from morning. You wash your face from morning. You take a bath from morning. I give me your woman calling. Yo, you brush your teeth from morning. You wash your face from morning. You take a bath from morning. I give me your woman calling.
I mean, she watching to see how me cute.
A big man, she don't want a little youth.
I mean, she want to call me brown and slim.
A muscle man, she want that's why me start go a gym.
I mean, she watching to see how me cute.
A big man, she don't want a little youth.
I mean, she want to call me brown and slim.
A muscle man, she want that's why me start go a gym. The gal dem a cruising, and we be man and listen to your blues.
Stand people on the don't hear the news. We have cat and we can't confuse. We know we tell them to stop. To buy your name like Wrigley's and take them news so can your business stop. To buy your name like bubblegum. To you have it girl and then no have non-stop. To buy your name like Wrigley's and take them news so can your business stop. To buy your name like bubblegum. To you have it girl stop. Some boy can't go on like no bad man this year. Cause all boy you go on and some shit new when me hear. The one them will make people see them and not scare. The one that higher than put up on them like cheer. So you have a bad man where run Kingston.
Back to the future.
In your bedroom you want to make you down. I want to jump you with that man a bad man. Bad man be who? Bout you bad when you don't have a clue. Man a bad man. You must have sick in your head. Them argue with them one retread.
Arrest me, officer, lock the handcuff. As long as a girl prison, you will lock me up. Arrest me, hard do a jailhouse a hell, but a heavy if you fling me at the pump bumps hell. Arrest me, officer, check me for loss. And the girl them hands and back, let me a crush. Arrest me, make the girl them come for hell. Now you know what you not well. Hey, I don't give a damn if you don't give a damn. All I'm looking for is just a one night slam. I don't give a damn and I really don't care. I'll take it anytime, anywhere.
One you a boom, two you a boom boom, 3, 4 you a boom down the place boom. You have man heart a big bodum bodum, 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 bodum bodum.
Yo, hey you girl in the tight up skirt, you make me head swell till me blood vessel burst. Hey you girl in the tight up shorts, you speed up 10 more beats to me heart. Hey you girl in the tight up blouse, every time you pass me you get me aroused. Hey you girl in the jeans,
Back to the future.
Plenty more nice girl out of Islam. 1 million, 2 million, girl, the house and stuff. We are not part of we plan. We just see some living nation sing along. Plenty more nice girl out there for slam. 1 million, 2 million dollar house and stuff we on a part of we plan. We have the song for living nation.
Nobody can tell me say them gal ya no come from Buffy, Buffy. Can't tell me them gal ya no come from Buffy, Buffy. See them in a shot so me know say them come from Buffy, Buffy. See them in a tight so me sure say them come from Buffy.
That was Back to the Future, and of course, you know, right after, we gotta go straight to the top. Definitely hope you enjoyed that. Of course, you did. It's on the trending station. Don't go anywhere. Of course, you know, when you come in on the live at 7 on the dot, we already started the live. When you come through, share the live, and you'll stay alive. Let's go.
When's the last time you heard styles like these?
Are you ready for
Party done.
Throwback Thursday. We giving you the best throwbacks, the anthems, and dance hall greats.
Wine to me baby, rock out. You like dance so good. Shake up your body, jiggle the back, your body, tip a party, bubble fatty, dirty man.
Throwback Thursday.
When the talk about evolution.
Boom 106.9.
Toots are nice coming on your version. Original Raga Soca #1.
So this is the shorty inside the party. Looking real naughty, winding up she little body. I said come on over, come let me show ya. Keep winding that waistline. If you tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
Bad man talking.
I gotta have it, shorty. Señorita, please tell me your name. Baby girl, I really would like to dance with you again, boy. You know I want it. I got to have it, shorty. When you are sway and move, I drive me insane. Watch now, señorita, 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 señorita.
Sexy girlfriend, why you stand up over there? Not only me, everybody in a the dancers there. Big fight up out in the dance when you are there. Them man all want to see, but you not care. Shorty, I wanna get with you. I see you nice, girl, pretty and cute. Me no make no other choice, let me give you this salute. Pretty girl in a me like me, why you bring forth me out?
Señorita, please tell me your name. I really would like to dance with you again, boy. You know I want it. I got to have it, shawty. When you are sway and move, I drive me insane. Watch now, señorita, 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 señorita.
Throwback Thursday.
The way you walk, when you talk, when you smile, when you looked at me, girl, for a while, started blush like a child, but I ain't playing no game now. I will do anything for your love. Just say the word now. You're my day, you're my night, you're my sun, you're my rain, you're my world now. I've got to have you, got to hold you, I've got to squeeze you. I'm longing for your love, girl. I've got to have you, got to hold you, I gotta win your heart. You set my soul on fire. 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 Fire, fire, ooh, fire, fire, yeah.
The number one morning show in the SVG. Morning. OMG in the morning.
Come on now.
Welcome back. It's OMG in the morning, and we're back with you today. We are blessed and highly favored for this opportunity to be back here with you again. So welcome in. All of you guys who already started coming in on the live. Those of you who have already joined us via stereo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Of course, you know this is a trending station, and we're broadcasting to you live from our studios here in Paul's Avenue, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have to shout out to all the folks in the various Grenadine Islands. Shout out to you guys in Mustique. I want to give a big shout out to my uncle, Dale in Mustique. Those of you who are already doing your morning duties at your various destinations. Those of you who are in commute right now, you're traveling and you got your headphones in, or you're on the road, you're listening to your stereo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's great to have you. Of course, we know there are those who are part of the Boom family who have already subscribed and liked and already joined us. Oh my God, this is so noisy. Yes, y'all. So before we really start off, OMG, this morning, I hope you guys had a great night. I really did. I know mine was not great. It was so freaking hot. It was hot. I don't know what's going on. Like the night before was warm-ish, you know, but last night was hot. I have always said I'd rather be cold than hot any day. But last night was real hot. And like so many of us would say, listen, if we hot here, you could imagine how hot hell is. Like if hell hotter than that, nah, I ain't gonna make it. It's time for a turnabout because I don't want to live like that. I really don't. I don't want to live like that. Guys, it's Throwback Thursdays. You didn't feel like it? You're like, oh, you probably live in AC, or you probably...
No, unfortunately, I really can't use AC at the moment. So.
Oh, okay. It will kick up your allergies and all of that.
No. Just a little faulty something with the car.
Oh, okay.
Which I have to go order from Japan today.
Money.
Spending.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Spending money.
That's why you should make plans, save money.
Now, when you make plans, you don't go as planned.
Wait. So you were gonna tell me something? Your night wasn't hot. Your night wasn't like.
It's real hot.
For real, y'all lucky I ain't coming here in a tank top, yo.
And when the all the concrete absorb all the heat in the day, it push it back out in the night. Wow. Not much breeze blowing, so you know.
I think there's a system right behind the last one we just had, so all you like, look out for that one. There's something going on out there or up there or wherever it normally starts. There's something going on. Expect another tropical system soon. Normally when we get that kind of heat, and I know that we're not the only ones. I know regionally these are things that we've been facing for a while. Good morning to you, Winston. Good morning to Deshaun. Good morning to Dada? Mason.
What Dada?
Mason, morning to you. We ain't going through all that. George, good morning. Buenos dias a todos, to all the folks locked on in Puerto Rico. And everybody else who's coming through. Mary, good morning to you, darling. Good morning to all the beautiful ladies coming through. Those of you locked on, ladies, be prepared today. Remember to wear a tank top under whatever you are wearing to soak up all that sweat, because you're going to feel some heat here in Vinci today. I'm telling you, if you work in an air-conditioned office, you're good. They're good until you step out. But other than that, yeah, you definitely got to dress for it. I know some of y'all want to dress to the nines and all your, like, jackets and your various different things. Keep it light today. Trust me. Keep it light. So, I have to let you know that we have the Honorable Fitz Bramble coming through. He's going to be enlightening us about the new initiative that the NDP has recently launched. We're going to be talking more about that, but the Honorable Fitz Bramble, he's going to be coming through at 9 o'clock, so look out for that. We're going to be talking some serious things today. I think we have an interview. I'm going to check and see if we have any interviews going on today. Before we start, I want to give you a Make Me Better motivational about lying to yourself. Some of y'all need to start lying to yourself whether it's about you're the hottest person around, but sometimes that's just confidence. It's not really lying to yourself. That's just Shady. What do you lie to? What do you lie to yourself about? I think in some ways we all lie to ourselves, but then some of us take it on another level. You know, when you're trying to really convince yourself of a lie, that's the next.
My
that's
age.
The next
My
level.
age.
For real?
Yeah.
How do you lie to yourself about your age? You lie to other people about your age. Or how do you lie to yourself?
I can't remember my age.
For real? Is that bad?
I don't want to remember.
Let me tell you something, right? That's something I don't lie to myself about because, you know, we know. And eventually, don't worry, it'll come back to you. When you start to feel them aches and pain, it'll come back to you. Your body will give you a jumper. It'll remind you. Listen, yesterday, I had put aside some cookies somebody gave me. I left it here, right? I put it in my, I put it in this. I wrapped it in paper towel, and I put it in my coffee mug. And I said, you know what? When I come in this morning, I'm going to have my coffee and I'm going to have the cookies. Listen, yo. I'm telling you, that's what I'll tell you. I don't lie to myself about certain things. So I came in, ready to make my coffee. I put the water to boil and everything. And so I'm taking out the packet of cookies. And I thought I wrapped it good. I thought I wrapped it up nice and tight. Plus this cover, this seal can't, like, I don't know how anything will get in here. But lo and behold, my cookies full of ants. And I tell you, and these are cookies full of ants. So you know what? I said, listen, I don't know what I'm telling myself today. If I tell myself I'm not going to eat y'all, you tell a lie. So I started to knock out these cookies, knock them off to get out the ants. That wasn't helping. You know, I thought about putting them in the microwave and seeing what happened. And then I did that. I put it on the paper towel and I put it in there just for a second or two. And it kind of sort of did the trick. Not really, but because I didn't want it to damage the cookies. I didn't know what's going to happen to them. So I took them out and knocked them off. I said, I don't care how much ants in this. If all you think all you're going to get eat, all you lie. And so said, so done. I ate them. Ants or no ants. And if all this that's never happened to you, you've never probably put up a dessert or some kind of snack for later, and the ants went after it, and you just knock off some from the side of the plate or whatever as much as you possibly can and eat the rest. That's you, but that is not me. I was not going to let that go to waste. So don't lie to yourself, all right? I want to read this to you because it's very important. And I think somebody out there, some of us, need to hear this. Are you lying to yourself? If you're confused, if you're a little lost like Shady, because you've been doing it for so long, listen to this. Above all, don't lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself on the delusional level I'm talking about, and listens to his own lies comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth from within or around him, and so loses all respect for himself and for others. And having no respect, he ceases to love. All right? Now, some people are amazing liars. They can deceive anybody. But being able to deceive yourself is not always the best skill. And if you're good at it, you're doomed. It can lead you astray and make you stay away from things that you truly want. But how do you know that you're lying to yourself if you're already so deep in it, if you're accustomed to it? The first sign is that you avoid introspection. If you notice that when it comes to really going deep within yourself and looking at yourself and saying, okay, what can I improve on? And you don't want to do it, you don't like what you see, yeah, you've been lying to yourself for a while. All right, so the first sign is that you avoid introspection. You don't like spending time alone with your thoughts. Instead, you always seek a distraction. Other people, your phone, loud music, or maybe something else. You don't want to give yourself the time or the chance to realize that something is wrong. The second sign is that there are things in other people that make you angry. When you see others living authentically, doing things with freedom, it makes you feel upset in a strange way, and you might not understand it. You might be prone to jealousy or envy, you know. These emotions can sometimes signal that you are lying to yourself. So look deep within. And the third one, last but not least, the third sign is that you feel dissatisfied with your life. I mean, at some point we all feel that way, right? Even though it seems to be okay. You don't feel truly happy or engaged. It's like you have achieved or are trying to achieve goals that don't truly inspire you. Now, if you suspect that you're lying to yourself, you have to face the truth of the situation. It can be scary, of course, but the payoff is certain to be very important and very valuable. So allow yourself the chance to spend time with your thoughts. Think about what you are hiding and why. Go to someone you trust and talk to them if you want. Yeah, you might try journaling or writing to put your thoughts out there. There's not much point into lying to yourself because the only one that's really affected is you. You know, how do you hide from yourself? Like, how do you lie for yourself? I mean, it happens, obviously, but it's not something I would advise you to continue doing. I think we all do it on a small scale, but when you start believing those lies, man, when you start believing them where you can't, where there's no discernment at all, when you've completely lost in your lie, yeah, it's time for you to look up. Look up. Let's start with the man in the mirror. All right. Good morning. Well, we have an early caller. Good morning to you. You're live on OMG this morning. I hope you're fine and dandy today. Good morning, Max.
Man, I agree. Jill, that thing you know, read. I hope people really. I want you to read it again before you go off air today. You know?
No problem.
Because people need to really listen to what you're saying, to understand what you're saying. And a lot of time, people listen to respond.
Very
and
true.
the second point is people not like you and they full of bad minds towards you. That remind me of me. Because a lot of them not like me, but me not give a ish who not like me and who like me. And as long as my daughter healthy and my wife who want still stay in a civil relationship, everything else is accessories, and accessories is things you could do without.
I hear you, Max.
But it starts with self-love. Because if you love yourself, you're not going to lie to yourself. Because a lot of I was having a dialogue with somebody from a particular political affiliation. And they're lying to themselves with some graphs to say St. Vincent employment have went up. Meanwhile, them they are here, they are everywhere begging everybody for a little thing before the Vinlek bill late. Turkey gone up to $7 a pound. And they're talking about employment went up, knowing that the government is lying to them. And they're lying to themselves because 10 days road work is still employment. And they use that to sugarcoat the reality. And then, when we say St. Vincent have a rape culture, years ago, they lied to themselves and said, the boy, they max need to shut up because St. Vincent not that bad.
And don't pull along the country. Famous words.
And don't pull along the country. And then when we criticize the Labour Party, they turn it into criticizing St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is lying to all yourself and our people. When all we replace ULP with St. Vincent, all we replace St. Vincent with ULP as far as criticism is concerned, are you lying to all yourself and when all you know all your baby father molesting all your child because the man paying the bills, all you lying to all yourself and now, on the flip note now, Jill, when Labour Party do something positive for the country and people refuse to give Jackie jacket because they don't want to make Labour look good, they might lie to themselves too, no? So a lot of people who clapping when I give in Labour licks, when I turn around and give NDP licks and they say, boy, me not give them man no credit. All you lying to all yourself too, no? So we have to really look within ourselves and it start with self-love. And we need to stop called salt, sugar.
Very true, Max.
And when you hold spoon of salt going in your mouth, you close your eye and your jab on there sinking like when your dentures drop out. And you're telling people it's sugar you're drinking, it's sugar you're eating. No. But hear the trick, but hear the flip side of it now, Jill. Sugar is a fuel for cancer. So if you're eating salt and pretending it's sugar, salt bad for you, but sugar also bad for you too. You have to do it in moderation. But that is a very powerful thing you read this morning, Jill, and I hope the listeners home and abroad listen it. And this is not about Jill, this is not about Max, it's about you. Looking at the mirror, you was singing Michael Jackson thing. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. If all of us be truthful to ourselves, instantaneously St. Vincent would become a better place.
Very true.
Instantaneously. Thank you for that, Jill. We need to hear that, and thank you.
Welcome. Max, I want to hear your thoughts on the cost of living tracker that the NDP recently launched. The Honorable Fitz Bramble is going to be coming in at 9 o'clock to talk about it. Any comments on it, or you want to share your thoughts now or after?
Well, my thoughts now that the cost of living in St. Vincent, well, the tracker will be a good thing, but that is basically telling people what we already know, Jill. When I come home on vacation, my rent card was paid for before I leave America. My little guest house does pay for before I leave America because I just need my peace of mind. I just walk with average $1,000 per week.
Okay.
And I'm not a show self kind of guy. Obviously, I just put aside some money to give to people. And obviously, when I go to the market and I buy from a local vendor, I tell them keep the change. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just putting things into perspective. You labor people who like to come and use my word of them and spin it. And when I go to the supermarket, Drill, I'm like, wow. Things are absolutely ridiculously expensive. But on the flip note, I have to take my hats off to people because I don't know how all of us do it down there with the cost of living and all you're doing it.
I tell you.
I won't know what I would do. But this is something that needs to be put on paper so people could really see because sometimes, like when you're bad spend money and they say, I broke. And then when you really sit down and put your spending habits on paper, it almost like wakes it up. So living the reality and putting the reality on paper for you to analyze it might be the intervention that you really need to understand the reality that you're now living in, because that was one of my problems, Jill. I used to bad spend a lot of money, still does, on vehicles and fast cars and things.
Okay.
And my wife, who is the leader in our house, my wife is the boss in our house, she sit me down and say, Max, come put everything on paper because we're making X amount of money a year and our savings supposed to be this. And when we put it on paper, I realize how stupid I have been for the past 5 years. And I stop and start saving. So maybe that analysis that's there is a necessary must for Vincent and people to really see that they're actually lying to themselves and say things is okay.
Max, what's the one thing that has surprised you that's so expensive when you come here? If you
what's
can find
the one thing
that surprised you that's so expensive when you come here?
Sushi?
Gasoline at the pump. Because we in Venezuela so cool. Venezuela is so cool. We in Venezuela is such good friends that when Venezuela president come, we have black squad man all through bush crawling pan the belly for take him and them from his sheep and he go to them and the foreign operatives. I find it hard to believe that Venezuela is selling us that gas at that price. And also what surprised me as well is the fuel surcharge on the VINLEC billing them.
I thought, I kind of thought you would have said that first, but okay.
Well, it surprised me personally because I'm not privy to really see the bills. I just have to go up my way and ask my auntie to see the bill and basically analyze the bill. But when I rent a car and I go put gas into the vehicle, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely ridiculous because if it's somebody who depending on gas for their livelihood, a taxi man, a van man, Jill needs her car gas up to go to work and take her kids to school. It's absolutely ridiculous, but we and Venezuela supposed to be friends. If we and Venezuela is such good friends, how come Venezuela selling us this gas at this price? Or is it Venezuela selling us the gas at that price? But they're digging out Vincent and I with the labor love. Again, we gotta be truthful to ourselves. Anyway, big up all yourself. I don't want to take over the program because people go see like me and work for boom. You know how them bad men and like for get mad at me for talking the truth. That's your second paragraph in your thing. Lisa.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my gosh. That's all I can say sometimes with Max. But he always makes a good point. We got another caller. Good morning, you're live on OMG.
Good morning, my sister. How are you?
Good morning, Hamo. How are you? How was your night, Mr. Hamilton? Was it as warm as mine? I mean, like, did you feel the heat last night?
Yes, I usually find a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But it's expected to still walk for the next couple of days. I noticed the weather will take us up maybe up to Saturday. We haven't seen, there's no significant wave or anything coming, just a few rich patterns. I do a lot of weather monitoring, so I'm not an expert, but I could tell you for the next maybe week or maybe into next week, we haven't seen anything significant. One tropical wave that would, if it develops, go a little bit to the north. So we look good in terms of weather, unlike a few days ago when you had these strong waves coming in, So I like the dryness, because it's good for me because, sometimes they had a little leak here and there, it's an old house. And, so good weather, we just take best use of it and hoping for it that the weather continues to stay this way. I mean, we are seeing a very struggle in the Atlantic. Tropical waves are literally suffering, going through this trend where the Sahara dust fighting them. And we'll be glad about that. We had it last year, and that would save a lot of heartache for the Caribbean areas, So if you could get down to, say, October, when most of the waves develop in the Caribbean Sea, then we could maybe, but we still have to keep our fingers crossed. But, what I'm really talking about is the economy, and I've done a lot of research in the economy, and I'm looking at China struggling with their banking sector, and they are expected to growth will be under 3% for China, that great country. And the industries, manufacturing, joblessness, and I'm only saying, for me, if China is struggling with the economy, what about St. Vincent and the other Caribbean countries? We don't have oil, we don't have minerals, we don't have what they have, and we have to depend on what does St. Vincent have? Our soil. I'm saying here again, my brother, you all have to understand what is the devastation of our economy. Our tourism sector, our agriculture sector is down to the bottom. I'm not talking about having no Duncy head man. I'm telling you, I'm not here to fool you. And when Mr. Gonsalves spoke in April of 2021, he said, I know we're in trouble with the economy. And I don't know how long I'll be able to pay the 30 million. He said, I want to be honest with you, but if it continues in that way, I would not be able to pay the 30 million and pay civil servants. And what is that saying to you? That all this man is concerned about is pay his 30 million. What about the hospital? What about the roads? What about the schools? What about an increased salary, proper increased salary for workers? What about the farmers, where 85% of the land lay followed? We have no economy. Argyle is supposed to be the driver. Argyle, how could an airport be a driver? The bottom line is that we have a dead economy. And you know what is projection? Projection from IMF is that St. Vincent will grow by 6%. Same monkey motion stuff last year grew by 5%. When St. Vincent, let me just get the figures and come off, because I'm telling you, a lot of you not reading, and you come and read, you want to talk and make Gonsalves look like if you're doing something. Let me just give it with the Caribbean and come off here. Because if you give me more time, I'll be able to educate the people better. Here you have, for example, St. Lucia growing by 8%. Antigua Barbuda 7.5%. There again, tourism, citizen investment program, manufacturing, agriculture in Antigua and Barbuda. Compared to the better soil in St. Vincent, we have zero agriculture. Barbados 5.9% growth. Belize been always doing fairly okay, 5.8. Dominica, again Dominica, agriculture, tourism, citizen investment program, manufacturing. Dominica, that Dominica there. We should be doing better than Dominica, but 5.7% growth. And this is from the figures from Economic Commission on Latin America. They are giving figures, not our IMF, with no politics. St. Kitts Nevis, that country been doing very well in manufacturing, tourism, agriculture. Agriculture in St. Kitts. Ask anybody, they soil can test with us. Citizen Investment Program. Has bailed them out, has bailed out Dominica.
I heard St. Kitts is doing very well. Somebody has even
recommended that I go there. St. Kitts economy, we need to get the St. Kitts leader over here. Because let me tell you something, the current St. Kitts leader and the past St. Kitts leader, they're very, very vast, and they're also accounting for their monies. There's no dictatorship like what we have with Friday Leacock and them and Gonsalves. And we need accountability, and we're not going to get it from none of them. And that's why I want no part of them. I'll just go down quickly and this Grenada, 3.7%. Grenada been struggling. Grenada has been doing fairly well. They got hit when they nutmeg, and as you know, Indonesia, they are number one for nutmeg, Grenada. But when they got these hurricanes that destroy the nutmeg, they're basically struggling without nutmeg, but they're actually bouncing back. And Citizen Investment Program agriculture across the board. They're doing well in sweet pepper. They're doing well in vegetables. They're doing well in bananas. They don't ship to the UK. But I could tell you, Grenada, that's a very not a vibrant economy. Expected to grow it grew 3.7 last year, expected to grow by 3.9%. Trinidad and Tobago struggling with a lot of all kind of complications from, as you know, the oil industry wobbling, going up and down, and they've struggled and they're seeing a lower growth than usual. This at 3.7%, but they will bounce back. You know, they have the tourism sector, they have manufacturing sector. Of course, manufacturing has been a great driver for Trinidad and Tobago. And Jamaica is another country struggling again. Coronavirus has destroyed them a lot with the tourism and so on, and they're basically bouncing back, but they're literally very low at the bottom of the scale. This is a country that's far more better in minerals and other things than us, and we are going to have over 5% growth. And after Jamaica, it's St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 2.7%. And so here is the big boy telling you about 5% growth. When the economy, Mr. Gonsalve, can't pay your salaries, and so you go to the NCB Bank, go into an overdraft of over 32 million, carry it into 60 million, tear up the interest, borrow money from the statutory bodies, and you should be held to account on telling people that you have the best run economy and projecting 6%, and every time you come here, oh, happy this and happy that. This is why you all hate passion, because you're not supposed to lie. Look at your debt. You said 2 billion. Your debt is over 5 billion. And in closing, you talk about Venezuela. Venezuela, they're in billions of debt. They can't even put the hospital is run down, and you're telling me Venezuela giving oil to St. Vincent? Why are they giving oil? Why are we in Venezuela? You know, Venezuela paying their salaries and so on to the criminal police and military. They're paying it from drugs money.
Mr.
Why are we in?
Let me ask you something. Somebody said something on. Well, this is a comment, that we're getting from the live, and you can let me know what you think about this. Someone said most of these islands are recovering from a larger tourism base, and that's probably why their economy is doing so well compared to ours. What do you say to that?
Well, I could say I've done tremendous amount of research for St. Vincent, and I want to say Milton Cato and in particular the NDP got it right. And that area day, I was part of a few forces coming here. Grenadines. That Grenadines are so significant that Grenada wants to, and other countries want to say, Barbados and the Grenadines. And I'm saying tourism basically under the NDP generated almost 400 million, 400 million. And I could tell you that for me, people wanted to come here. We had a safe environment, not under Gonsalve. That's why you have to get them out. And I'm saying that tourism sector is a driver for, you see, St. Lucia, 8%, and most of the Caribbean countries literally got a hit when coronavirus, they're bouncing back. What have we done here? Absolutely nothing. Here you had Beach, who destroyed the tourism industry, said that you were going to bring in 300,000. We couldn't even get 50,000. They've destroyed runaway oligarchies. That tourism sector is a driver. And citizen investment program, and manufacturing, and agriculture. And we have absolutely no here. And I'm saying here, a warning all of you, including my good friend, Mr. Pastor Richards, be very careful when you big up what has happened here. We are literally starving. I could tell you this devastation for inflation. Inflation galore, because why? Because all you could have to do is just tax us, tear up the duties, make Vilnec betray us, maybe very soon CWSA, and obviously you get your 30 million, you pay 30 million, and that's all you do, pay 30 million. You ain't concerned about the hospital, you ain't concerned about the roads, you ain't concerned about the farmers, you ain't concerned about the hard-working civil servants. You can't even get them a proper increase, 1-2%, but you could give the lady there at the supervisory election an increase, and who knows your own self. You should, every one of you politicians, including you lazy ones in the NDP, should not even get any salary.
Mr. Can I ask another question, please? Have you ever considered doing a podcast, and that way you control the amount of time you have?
Yes, please. I could do that. In fact, well, a good friend of mine recommended that, my lawyer friend. And I want to say lawyer doesn't mean that I am no lawyer. He's a monitoring station. He's a retired magistrate, and he encourages me in that to do these, to go to up it, and also he said to go into law. because you said, you know a lot in the Constitution. And so thank you for being productive and thinking about me. I'm 62 years old. I have done a lot of reading and research. I'm very, I'm not a know-it-all, but thank you very much for caring about me. We have one other thing. I hope you could discuss it in the week. I don't know if you know, two more cases of coronavirus. And out come the great Mr. Gonsalve. Oh, we need vigilance. Mr. Gonsalve, are you for real? Is you the man who literally dropped all of the mandates and so on and told people that the virus dry up, tell them that take vaccine. Vaccines are totally ineffective. And now you put all people to party and set, and 2 persons only could show up because why? They died? Maybe if they didn't die, you would never know we had 2 coronavirus in the country. And we sitting down here and we calling on the Prime Minister. Well, who want to get sweets up from Gonsalve to tell how the country do it? Gonsalve must go. Gonsalve must go. Friday must go. Leacock must go. And we need people like Jill. We need people like Icon. We need people like Dave Roberts. These are the guy who just called, Dave, from overseas. We need people like him. Because it's those people who care about our country rather than getting buttered by taxpayers' money. I'm not in part of that. And I want to tell you all, Moving Centers, you all need to call Jill. You all need to call Boom. You all need to speak. Do not be afraid. I'm sorry. I really apologize about the passion. But it's overbearing now with the kind of atrocities that were committed here. These people deserve to be in jail for what they've done to our economy.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Love you very much, sister. Love you very much.
Okay, guys. So, we got to take a quick commercial pause. It's about that time. I also have to remind you, coming up, we have Plain Talk with Jomo Thomas. And, of course, at 8:30, we have Mr. Weeks coming through. And like I said, at 9 o'clock, we have the Honorable Fitz Bramble coming in. And he's going to be talking about the new initiative that was launched by the New Democratic Party, which is their cost of living tracker. And hopefully we'll get some in-depth guide as to what this is, what it is for, how can it benefit Vincentians, etc., etc. Let me see if I can take this call real quick. Okay. Yeah, so we're getting a quick commercial pause. Let me just give some information to you guys real quick. All right, a candlelight vigil is scheduled to be held today at the Kingstown Cruise Terminal in honor of Michael Toby or Tobai. I'm not necessarily sure. He's a Nigerian. He's a Nigerian who recently drowned out in the Indian Bay area, and this vigil starts at 7:30 p.m. Persons are encouraged to walk with candle. Those of you who are interested in attending, again, it's a candlelight vigil. It's going to be held today in honor of Michael Tobai. I'm thinking it's Tobai because Toby has a Y on it. Yes, and that's a Nigerian who recently passed. So I'm sure the Nigerian community who would have known him are going to be out there. Remember to walk with a candle. All right, and it starts at 7:30 p.m. Be there and make sure, guys, you walk with your candle. Again, it's at the Kingstown Cruise Terminal, and it starts at 7:30 p.m. Real quick, Flo, I got to let you know. Phones for $1. Is it surprising? Yes, it is. I'm actually thinking there's some kind of something to it, but it is not. There's phones for $1. At Flow, you can get a phone for $1. Sign up for any new postpaid mobile plan and get select Samsung Galaxy smartphones only for $1. All right? Sign up for any postpaid. And of course, you're going to need a plan to go with the phone. So sign up for one and you get the phone for only $1. Remember, it's selected Samsung Galaxy smartphones. You heard me right. $1. You can get a Samsung Galaxy A4, a A14, or a A23. So check them out today. Woodsy's located in Brooklyn, New York. Woodsy's Bar and Restaurant. Check them out today. They're open every day. They're located on 1133 Clarkson Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11212. And of course, you know, it is definitely a vibe every time you go, whether you go there for relaxation, just to grab a drink by yourself, you go with friends, you go on a date, or you go for karaoke, which they do every Friday at Woodsy's Bar and Restaurant. And of course, you know, for the summer, Woodsy's has got it locked. They definitely have. They have drink specials that will be going on for the summer on Saturdays. You can join them for free roast pork and roast chicken. The happy hour starts from 5 p.m. to 7 at Woodsy's. And remember, this is in Brooklyn, New York, not here in Vincy, Brooklyn, New York. You can get specials like 5 beers for $20. You can have $10 cocktails. You can get $10 frozen margaritas, $5 shots, you name it. It is the ultimate summer Saturday experience, and you don't want to miss it. Woodsy's is also inviting you to mark your calendar for an unforgettable Labor Day weekend with your friends and loved ones at Woodsy's. I remind you again, they're located on 1133 Clarkson Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11212. So all you guys in surrounding areas, link up with Woodsy's Bar and Restaurant today, whether it's for lunch, dinner, karaoke, or just to have a great time. Woodsy's Bar. Shout out to the folks at District Stairs. Also, don't forget, Courts have their back to school promotion going on, so check them out today. Culture Bar coming back home right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Hotel Alexandrina's Culture Bar and Grill has definitely got you. If you're looking for mouth-watering, delicious food, it's something memorable, something that can tantalize your taste buds to the point where you can't forget it. Check out Hotel Alexandrina's Culture Bar and Grill. They're located in Prospect. And on Saturdays, they normally have like really great pork. They say mouth-watering ribs, succulent chicken, and fresh fish, all grilled to perfection. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. Don't miss out on the sizzling sensation. They normally have this barbecue every Saturday. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. Call Hotel Alexandrina for more information. 456-9788. 456-9788. We're going to take a quick commercial pause. I have a feeling I have something. Shay, I want to thank my cousin Shay. He was listening a while ago, and he sent me some information. He said that a new storm, Dahlia, is likely to develop in the coming weeks or coming days. And it's a new system. It's a new disturbance in the area, and that's probably what's causing all the heat. So look out for that. I told y'all there's something in the area. I mean, Hamo came through and he gave such a wow. I'm telling you, I probably couldn't do a better job. Yeah, we gotta go. Take a commercial pause. Plain Talk is coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Get up to 30% off in Accords Deal-O-Mania! From August 7th to the 31st, visit the Quartz store near you for deals on smartphones, furniture, refrigerators.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live. Party.
Always wanted a motorcycle, but they've been too expensive. I pass in on my way to work, and then boom, I see courts of motorcycles outside. I'm excited. I get up one day, I go down, I spoke to this guy. I think his name was Sheena, this short, chubby little guy, you know. I purchased 2 bikes so far. It was the 150 SL and the 250 Dragon. This blue, beautiful AKT TT Dragon. This is my baby. I call her Becky. She gives me the best ride ever. My name is Storyboy Nick, and I live to ride my AKT.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in store for details.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Discover new Guinness Smooth. Perfectly balanced for a smooth, refreshing taste. New Guinness Smooth.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in store for details.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's falling down. All you gotta do is to bring it to the ground. Hit it up to your inner move, stop, start, down. Nobody can get what you're going through.
It's locally.
And using a conventional security with infrared light.
SVG Inc. at telephone number 784-457-7241.
No matter where we come from, the journey begins the same for all of us. There are no easy ways to achieve our dreams. The road is paved with determination and hard work, fueled by the love of what we do and the ones we do it for. At the St. Vincent Cooperative Bank, we share your vision to succeed. It runs generations deep. That's why we continue to take...
This is Locally Made. My name is Jillian Cruikshank. Join us on IKTV channel 112, where we premiere and air Locally Made, a program featuring locally made produce right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We'll show you how it's made and how it is done. Remember, every Thursday, 8 p.m. on IKTV channel 112.
Visit us in Prospect or call 456-9788 to secure your table today. Hotel Alexandrinas Culture Bar and Grill, where flavors come to life.
Plain Talk. Plain Talk with Jumo Thomas.
So much things to say right now.
All you talk now.
On OMG.
Welcome back to OMG in the morning on a beautiful Thursday. We have it's now time for Talk with Jumo Thomas. And Jumo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jill. Good morning, Shady. Most of all, good morning to your listeners. This morning I want to talk a little about reparations, particularly the fact that we are in Emancipation Month, and Emancipation Month, August 1st, reflects the day in 1834 when our forebears, our ancestors, won legal freedom from chattel slavery. And I want to talk about reparations in the context of a recent report. There's a Brattle group, and one of the key members on that Brattle study group, they were looking into the financial cost of the enslavement of African people across the countries that were governed by Britain in the Caribbean. And one of the key members of the Brattle group is Jamaican Judge Patrick Robinson. Patrick Robinson is an international law specialist. He has had a long experience working in the international judicial system. He is highly respected. He's a member of the International Criminal Court, and he was the lead judge. He was the presiding judge in the trial of former Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic. So he has some pedigree. He has some standing. And as I said, he was part of the Brattle group that studied the cost in terms of compensation. What would it mean for African people who were enslaved in the Caribbean? And the Brattle group came up with an estimate of about saying that the enslaved Africans would be owed about $23 trillion. That is the amount of money that they estimated that the enslaved Africans who were brought to the Caribbean would be owed. That's a lot of money. Now, to get an understanding of how much money that is, and remember I said trillions. $1 trillion is $100 billion. So I hope you get what I'm saying. So 100 billion is 1 trillion, and we are owed in the Caribbean $24 trillion. The Brattle Group estimated that Jamaica alone is owed about $9.6 trillion. Because remember, Jamaica was one of the largest plantation for enslaved Africans. The British made a tremendous amount of money from the enslavement of Africans in Jamaica. So of this 24 trillion, Jamaica alone is owed $9.6 trillion. Another important point to make about this question is that Justice Patrick Robinson, Jamaican by birth, says that the 24 trillion is an underestimation of the value of the labor of enslaved Africans during the period of slavery. And what is significant is that Justice Patrick Robinson has urged the United Kingdom to change its current position. The British, as you know, have expressed regret, but they say that they are not going to apologize. So Justice Patrick Robinson has called on the British to go beyond regret and to express an apology. And then he goes on to say that the British cannot continue to ignore the great atrocity signifying man's inhumanity to man. He says reparations have been paid for other wrongs in other countries, and it has been paid far more quickly. And he wonders why, for this greatest atrocity and crime in the history of mankind, a number of powerful people around the world are not making any attempt to pay reparations to the descendants of the former enslaved people. Now, this is a significant development because, you know, the international judicial architecture, the structure of the legal system around the world is very, very, very conservative. I may even say reactionary. And to have a prominent judge like Justice Robinson making this claim and being part of the Brattle Group that did the study, that's a significant breakthrough. I think we would all agree that reparations has taken on a life of its own, and that fight, that struggle has gained speed, has gained momentum, has gained impetus. It has really taken off, not only here in the Caribbean, but in the United States of America. And one can only hope that more prominent individuals, particularly legal minds in international law, like Justice Robinson, would join this fight. Because one of the arguments that has been made against reparations is that the claim is too remote. It was said that, you know, in the Caribbean, slavery ended in 1834 legally, and now you don't have any living persons who had actually lived through slavery.
Yeah. I heard that remark.
Yes. So, but you know, even the argument of remoteness is not really a good argument, Because in 1833, when the British government passed the Emancipation Proclamation, it was passed in 1833, but it was promulgated, it was issued on August 1st, 1834. When they passed that, in order to do it, they borrowed 20 million pounds from the Rothschild group of bankers to pay the planters who had owned plantations all across the Caribbean. 20 million pounds. And the best way in which we can rebut the argument of remoteness is to understand that this 20 million pounds, which is the equivalent of billions of dollars today, the British government only finished paying off that loan in 2015, a mere 8 years ago. So it took them from 1833, when the loan was issued, to 2015 to pay off the loan. So that's 73 years, that's 173 years, that's about almost 200 years to pay off the loan. Which is to tell you again the amount of interest that the Rothschild group of bankers got on that loan. But it also shatters the argument about remoteness. The other thing that we need to understand is that a number of families are now coming forward. We had the Trevelyan's who came forward and made a payment of, I think it's $100,000. They contributed $100,000 towards reparatory research work for reparatory justice in Grenada. The Trevelyan's discovered that their family had owned like 100 enslaved Africans in Grenada. And we see the same thing happening, I think, yesterday. Excuse me. The Gladstone family. The Gladstone family, they were in Guyana along with the Trevelyan's to do a similar kind of atonement and to offer apology for their family's involvement in the what is best characterized as the African Holocaust. And I want to emphasize this notion of Holocaust because for too long, the notion of Holocaust has been taken to mean only, when you say Holocaust, you're thinking Jewish Holocaust.
Yeah.
But the Jewish Holocaust is not singular. There were many more Holocausts, including the Holocaust that visited the indigenous people of St. Vincent, for example, the virtual obliteration of Garifuna people, First Nation people across the world. There were that kind of Holocaust, right? But the African Holocaust has been ongoing for hundreds of years and continue to this day. So the Gladstones and the Trevelyan's have gone to Guyana, and the Gladstones they too in Guyana, I think 7 family members from the Gladstone family went there and apologized. The Gladstones were the largest recipient of compensation for enslaved Africans from that money, because their family had like about 7 plantations in Jamaica. They had a number of plantations in Guyana, and I think in other countries across the region. So you have the heirs of the former enslaved coming forward. And I think that for us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we need to gain the kind of interest in reparation because it means so much. I'm not sure if we understand, or if we understand sufficiently well, that in 1834, in 1838, because remember in 1834, we only had the legal proclamation, but we did not gain our full freedom until 1838, because it was said then that our enslaved ancestors had to do 4 years of apprenticeship. Why were they doing 4 years of apprenticeship in a job that they were doing for decades? is beyond me. But they were told to do 4 years of apprenticeship, and one of the reasons why they were told to do 4 years of apprenticeship, this is something again that we need to understand, is that the planter class had made, when they did cumulatively all of the calculations for all of the enslaved Africans they had in the region, it was said to be about 47 million pounds. The British was only committed to paying 20 million pounds. And the 4 years of apprenticeship was intended to pay off the enslavers, to allow them to get the additional 27 pounds. So that 4 years of apprenticeship, our forebears, our ancestors had to walk off the money for their own freedom. So it is critically important for us to understand that at emancipation, our people had nothing. We were simply...
Council, someone is asking, are we not beating a dead horse? A dead cow, sorry.
Well, I'll answer this way. The argument was that you might have heard me say that before, nobody thought that this would come. We would come to this day where we were talking about reparations in the ways in which we are talking about reparations. And reparations is coming in a number of ways. I mean, universities, cities across the world, including England, have agreed to pay reparations. There's the university in England, is it England or Ireland, that had a connection to one of their estates. I think it was in Camden Park, and we got some scholarships from our people. Got, I think, about 35 scholarships from that university. So it's coming in a number of different ways. As it relates to the dead horse, it was said that we couldn't make the connection because there was no way of connecting our people, modern day Vincentians, modern day Caribbean people, to the enslaved. Now the science has developed that you can use genetic studies to prove that most of the African people in St. Vincent are actually descendants of the enslaved. So it is we can do the detection, we can know who are there. But in addition to that, this idea that we are beating a horse that is dead or we are beating a cow that is dead is not the way I think we should approach it. I think we should fight to ensure that we get whatever we can get. And I am absolutely convinced that this century, this 21st century, is the century of reparatory justice. And I see the wave that is going now. The powerful will try to block it, they will try to stop it, they will try to derail it. But I'm absolutely convinced and I'm absolutely confident that we would see reparations. In fact, I intend to see reparations in my lifetime because I don't intend to go any place anytime soon.
Okay. Well, I guess I guess you are. Someone asked, Council, were you not a high position member of the reparations committee? And they also said, sorry if they're wrong, but they're just asking the question.
No. Yes. For 10 years, between the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Reparations Committee was formed in 2013. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Reparations Movement was formed in 2005. In 2013, I was made the chairperson of the St. Vincent and the Reparations Committee, and I served until a new chair, my brother Adrian Odle, was named as chair of the committee recently. So yes, I served for 10 years.
Okay. With that question, could we just go to the top and come back real quick, please, Council, if you don't mind? All right.
Yeah, no problem at all.
When's the last time you heard styles like these?
Are you ready for party done?
Throwback Thursday. We giving you the best throwbacks, the anthems, and dance all great.
Wine to the baby, rock on. We like dance to support. Cheer up your body, jiggle the back, your body, tip a party, rubber fatty, dirty dance.
Throwback Thursday.
When they talk about evolution.
Boom 1069.
I'm a god. Stalker. I love my life. 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 No, no, we don't know what tomorrow might bring, cause the future, the hours away. So me, I live my life today. So me, I live my life today. Yeah, so love me, make me talk what I want for talk. Me have enough to say. So me, I live my life today. So me, I live my life today. So everybody else sing it out. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. So me, I live my life today. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life.
It's Throwback Thursday.
It's Throwback Thursday, and we're now in Plain Talk with Jomo Thomas, counsel. You were talking about reparations, and I was basically asking some questions from the comment here on the live. Now, I'm going to go to WhatsApp and ask this question. The comment was made, so I'm asking it. The individual asks, counsel, why do you think some persons in America who believe and associate themselves being the original indigenous as well as being the true Indians believe that slavery was made up?
That slavery was made up?
Yes.
Well, I have never heard that argument. I mean, that position flies in the face of the reality. Chattel slavery is a historical fact. African people started in the United States, since you were talking about the United States. From 1619, they started kidnapping and bringing over to the Americas enslaved Africans, and they were first brought there, at least that's what the historical record indicated, from 1619. So I'm not so sure how that's a made-up story. In fact, in between 1860 and 1863, there was a civil war in the United States over how do you deal with the issue of slavery. Abraham Lincoln, who was the president of the United States then, who was made out to be this great emancipator, in one of his speeches in 1862 said, if he could have kept the nation, the United States, united without ending slavery, he would have done that. But he just does not think that could have been done. And consequently, he pushed for the emancipation. He pushed the Emancipation Proclamation. So I don't know where this argument is coming from that slavery was made up.
Yeah, it's the first time I'm hearing it. Counsel, let me ask you real quick your opinion. We're having the Honorable Fitzbrown will come in and talk about the cost of living tracker. What's your opinion on it? If you've heard anything about it, if you understand how it works, what's your opinion on it?
Bramble is coming in to speak about what?
The cost of living tracker that the NDP recently launched. Have you heard anything in depth how it works?
No, I didn't. I saw a piece, I think, on Eyewitness News, but I have not had a chance to read it as yet. I would read it. Well, I am not so sure that we actually need a tracker. I mean, any Vincentian who go to the stores would know, and I think that we actually being gouged by the business class. I don't see how things are. The cost is going up as rapidly as it is going up. I mean, I have a client
blaming customs, so everybody's blaming customs.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I have a client that I buy things for, and probably in January, a bottle of coffee which I bought for him was for like about $32. Right?
Do you mind if I ask what brand? Do you mind if I ask what brand?
Nescafe.
Okay, Nescafe.
And it went to $35, And now it's at $48. So I can't believe that the price has gone up 33% in 6 months. So yesterday I went to buy, and I went into one store and they said it was $48, and they attached a cup to it. You know?
I know where this is going.
They tape on the cup to it and said it's $48. And I said, nah. And then I went to another store and they taped on a cup to it and said it was $48. And then I went to another store and they didn't have the cup taped on, but it was $50.55. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And you know that some of these people, there's a tamarind drink that I used to buy. And I remember when that tamarind drink was like about $7, $8. It's now $12. So it has gone up 33% in 6 months. I think that, you see, I hear people making the argument that the war in the Ukraine has cost all of this. You know, that's a joke, right?
Yeah. Yep, I've never heard it though. Nobody's ever told me that.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of people say the cost of living has gone up because the war in Ukraine, between the Ukraine and Russia, that is causing a spike. I mean, if things are coming from Europe,
oh, you understand how that.
I can understand that, and still, I don't understand it. I understand the argument, but I don't agree with the argument because the traffic is not blocked. It's not like if ships going into Germany or in those seas are being torpedoed and are sunk. None of that has happened since the war began between Russia and the Ukraine. So the argument that I can see some of the things or some things that are coming out of the Ukraine that it may be bottlenecked and so on. But this overall rapid increase in the cost of living, it's a canard. It's an excuse for business people making just an enormous amount of money off the backs of people. I have no doubts about that at all.
Shady, as a businessman, right? What do you say to that? Because I'm sure their business, whether it's small business people or people who already have established business, right? I'm sure that they would be able to justify numerous reasons why they would have these added costs to create these increased prices over such a short period of time. So as a business person, and like I said before, the majority of times when you go into certain stores and different places, they would tell you that customs is the reason why they have to hike their prices up. You understand? Because they're being killed at customs. I think that one kind of all, but that's what you hear a lot. But then they would tell you everything raised, so they have to
they always pass it on to the customers.
Business people, as a rule, would sell you. There's a 300% markup on a product, which takes in all of the cost. You have to import it. The price of the containers have gone up. The customs charge,
stuff like that. Yes,
there's like a 400. So if something it costs $10, more than likely they can sell it for $40. But when you see it go from $40 to $50 in a few months, how many containers they bring in
between that space of time?
You know.
And the current up the price where they already had in stock.
But that's the other point I was going to make. Sometimes let's say that there's an increase in gas. Gas may be a good example, right? Increase in gas price. Do you think the gas station say, well, all right, we exhaust the other 500 gallons we have here that we were selling at $14.50, and then we wait to go up to $16?
As soon
You
as
simply
press,
pour the new gas on the 500 gallons, and everything starts selling for $16.
I hear you.
So I don't know. I just think that poor people, as the old reggae song say, only poor people feel it. I mean, you and Shady, you guys are well placed. All you could go in the store and whatever they say the price, you get it, Naso. But the ordinary person
Wait, that question. Let me take
you,
this
you're
call.
speaking about
Please,
yourself, though, man.
Good morning, you're live on OMG. Good morning to you.
Good morning to one and all. Jim, good morning. Jomo is your partner. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Spencer.
Yes, Spencer.
Listen, you're a fella like you're missing the big picture, man. You should know the reason for the increase in prices. It's not the customs. It's not the local businessman to most of it, right? A lot of it has to do who produces the items internationally, right? You think it's St. Vincent alone that facing this issue? It's Canada, it's everybody. I could tell you, I buy the groceries up here, and it's the same thing in Canada. And you ask the reason why. Now, the big picture. 90% of the companies from the banking sector right down to the manufacturing sector is owned by two companies, BlackRock and Vanguard, right? And these guys control almost everything in the world. Go and check it out, folks. And when these people have an ultimatum to starve people to death because the world's population is too big, they can call me all kind of conspiracy theorists. All the the information is there. That was the whole idea with COVID and all this stuff, is to reduce the population. So they ain't get you one way, they're going to get you another way. They're going to starve you to death. That's the whole idea. It ain't costing them anymore to produce it, but they fix the prices how they want. Two companies, guys. Check it out, BlackRock and Vanguard.
Okay.
Check it out.
Yeah, I'm familiar with both of them.
All right, Spencer, thank you so much for your contribution.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, I've heard some of those theories before.
Yeah, and Jill, I think unless you have anything else there, this might be a good time for me to say until we meet again.
Yes, definitely. Jomo, thank you so much, Council, for coming through and chatting with us.
No problem at all.
Eye-opening as always. Enjoy what's left of your morning.
All the best to you. Bye.
All right. And that's where we end Plain Talk with Jomo Thomas. I hope you garnered a lot from that, whether you agree or disagree. Information is always, this kind of information is always useful. All right, guys, whether you agree or not. Just to get into some of the comments, someone says, as a business owner, I have increased my prices on food because the vendors' prices increased. Sorry, for me to recuperate, I have to pass on the increase to customers. Basically, I have to pass on the increase to customers. Someone else says, it amazes me how Vincentians make their budget work with the salary that they are paid. We are a resilient people, and when you are thrust into something, sometimes you have no other choice to be strong and survive. So I can tell you that. And this is coming from someone who don't have anybody to say, well, not anybody, like people to say, send me this and send me that overseas. Yeah. So I'm telling you, when you have no choice but to survive, you have to find that strength and make it happen, especially when you have people depending on you. Spider says, when the price of fuel spikes, the price of everything is affected. I hear you. Guys, we we gotta take a commercial pause. You know how it is. You know how we do this. Coming up at 8:30, we have Mr. Weeks will be coming through today. Don't forget, because Mr. Weeks is coming up. Don't forget, coming up at 9 o'clock, we have Mr. Fitz Bramble. I want y'all to stay for Mr. Fitz Bramble. He's gonna be talking about because every time everybody and Mr. Weeks coming on, you see the live drop. Don't go anywhere. You definitely want to hear about the cost of living tracker, how it works, how it's going to open Vincentian's eyes to what's going on. I don't know if what's going on, what we have in our hands, what we have to spend every day, our current situation. I don't know how that is not tangible enough, but I know I was supposed to ask council something. I read a story regarding somebody who got, a young man got attacked with a cutlass. He got chopped with a cutlass, right? A student, I think he was 17 years old. Let me just grab that story real quick. And apparently, he was the person who chopped him with the cutlass had to pay $300, and I wanted to know what the $300 is for. Like, what is that for? I mean, he didn't do jail time, but he had to pay $300. Like, when people assault you, is that a thing where help me, Shady? Help me, that $300. I kind of want to know Council of Exchequer that. It was right there to ask him, and it slipped my mind. But that's another thing. And let me just get into these because I want all these ads. I want these ads go. Sackley says, if the cost of living don't make sense with their income, I don't think any tracker will change anything. Prove me wrong. Well, we'll hear from the East Kingstown representative when he comes in to talk to us about that. All right, let me just get out these. We gotta pay them bills. Max Pizza and Kitchen.
Yes, today's Thursday.
Yes, waiting on my pizza. Just
tomorrow,
so you know, tomorrow. We're looking at pizza. Okay. Yes, Culture Bar and Grill. Don't forget, if you're looking for a great place to eat right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they call all food lovers Hotel Alexandrina's Culture Bar and Grill in Prospect. It's definitely the place to be for your ultimate dining destination. From 3 p.m. Monday to Saturday, you can indulge in their delectable menus, offering an extensive selection of wines, liquors, cocktails, mocktails, shots, and mouth-watering dishes, and more. You can visit Hotel Alexandrina Culture Bar and Grill today, or you can give them a call, 456-9788, 456-9788. For more information and for reservations. And from word of mouth, coming straight out of the horse's mouth, I heard Mario Silis. Mr. Mario said they have the best mojitos he's ever tasted. So if you're looking for a good mojito, check out Hotel Alexandrina Culture Bar and Grill. And to the person who's calling at this moment, if you can please call back after our commercial pause, we would so appreciate it. SVG Tires. At SVG Tires, they have a special on tires. Buy at regular price and get the fourth one for free. Again, buy at regular price and get the fourth tire for free at SVG Tires. Visit their stores today in Kingstown, or you can call them 457-1467, 457-1467, or Honnestville. The Honnestville number is 456-456-6444. 456-6444. I hope y'all got that. All right. There's 2 6s in there. 456-6444. That's SVG Tires. Check them out today. They got a special going on. You buy 4 tires at regular price, you get the fourth one for free. So don't miss. Give them a call today. The Kingstown Cooperative Credit Union is having their KCCU EduTech promotion that have that going on. They invite you to embrace the future of education with KCCU EduTech. Head back to school hassle-free with financial support from Kingstown, the Kingstown Cooperative Credit Union.
The Patriot Company Limited, With services like Terrazzo Construction, Terrazzo Restoration, Terrazzo Maintenance, Concrete Grinding, Pressure Washing, Janitorial Services, Carpet Cleaning, Home and Office Cleaning. We offer
Memorial
services.
Funeral Home is dedicated to meeting the needs of our customers. We go above and beyond to ensure satisfaction and convenience. That is why we are extending our services to the diaspora. Working with Caribbean Funeral Home in New York, burial packages can now be completed in New York to cover burials in St. Vincent, and likewise, packages can be made in St. Vincent to cover burials in New York. Caribbean Funeral Home is located on 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. Call their office at 718-444-1818 or WhatsApp at 347-925-9557 or 347-231-5410. For more information, call our local office at 458-8888. Memorial Funeral Home. Quality, convenience, and affordability.
These signs do what's right. Put a stop to child abuse. See, suspect, say.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live. Party.
Always wanted a motorcycle, but they've been too expensive. I pass in on my way to work, and then boom, I see courts of motorcycles outside. I'm excited. I get up one day, I go down, I spoke to this guy. I think his name was Sheena, this short, chubby little guy, you know. I purchased 2 bikes so far. It was the 150 SL and the 250 Dragon. This blue, beautiful AKT TT Dragon. This is my baby. I call her Becky. She gives me the best ride ever. My name is Storyboy Nick, and I live to ride my AKT.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in-store for details.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Discover New Guinness Smooth. Perfectly balanced for a smooth, refreshing taste. New Guinness Smooth.
Your vision is our mission at Quartz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.quartzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in store for details.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069.
Come a jinxing and I take one sip. Should I see me just a gallop like a horse I get whipped? Come quick, whoa. She said
It's
you are
Throwback-
love and not enough.
Throwback
Although
Thursday.
something change, but I know you will never gonna love you forever. Sweet, sweet love. Yes, she gives me forever. She give me love forever. She give me love forever. Yeah, stop it. I just reached the airport and I buy a ticket. The airport that the landlord said that was Gatwick. Reach a Jetstar, type a telex. I was stopping to my next girl with name Paulette. Simone hear that and Simone get vexed. All of a sudden she drove for her ex, but her ex couldn't kiss and he couldn't caress. Due to OE freebase, he didn't have a chest. She had to confess that I am the best. Cause on me take the S off of Superman chest and take off the B off of Batman belly. That's how I get the name Barrington Levy. You take
Time to connect with the most loved man on radio. Sir Lancelot is in the building.
That is what you call premature right there, Shady. Why would you cut it too soon, man? That's too fast. Too fast. And you need to give us a little bit more time. Guys, it's now time to connect with the most loved man on the radio. Good morning to you, Mr. Weeks. You are live on OMG in the morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mrs. Cruikshank.
Good
morning.
Good morning, Mr. Weeks.
Greetings to your listeners.
Okay.
EC 101, Economics 101 tells us that. By the way, a trillion is a 1,000 billion, not 100. 1 trillion is 1,000 billion.
I'm sure Juma's glad for that correction if that is the case. My math isn't that far, so yeah.
Not just for the little children, the primary school children, just in case any of them are listening. Economics 101 tells us that in an economy, expenditure equals income equals output. In other words, what we produce is equivalent to what we consume. And by the way, consumption can be, you have different, consumption can be divided up several ways. Not getting into that this morning. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our total output as measured by the officials who are charged with that responsibility is approximately $2.2 billion. It's probably a little more than that, but for ease of calculation, I will use the $2,200 million, $2.2 billion. Our population is approximately $110,000. And that's a figure we can have a whole morning discussion on. But it is around 110,000 persons in our population. It therefore means that on average, the average consumption, the average amount available for Vincentians to consume is $20,000 per year. So I go back. We produce $2.2 billion. We have 110,000 of us consuming that. So each of us, on the average, I mean, we know there's wide disparity, but on the average, we have $20,000 per annum for us to consume. And that is what is referred to as the per capita income. In other words, on the average, that's what Vincentians are making. I want to give credit to those who are actually doing the production, those who are in the workforce, and who are actually producing, because it's not the entire workforce that is producing. A portion of the workforce are not working, and those are the unemployed. And if we have a workforce of about 60,000, and let us reduce that to 40,000 to account for those who are unemployed. It therefore means that each Vincentian worker, on the average, is producing about $55,000 a year. I have heard it said here on a regular basis that the median wage in St. Vincent is about $1,500. I believe the mean would be less than that. But the median is the most popular one. That's the most popular figure. Again, that's what is said here. So if the median income is $1,500, it means that on an annual basis, that's $1,500 per month, on an average annual basis, the individual will be working for $18,000 per annum. So on average, we're producing 55,000, and earning 18,000. What I want us to do as individuals is to look at where we are. First of all, where we are as compared to that $18,000. And secondly, where we are in terms of the $55,000. And think about what actions as an individual that we need to take. Let us think on those things. That's my contribution for this morning, Kirkjan. Have a good day and a good weekend. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much. All right, that was Mr. Weeks' contribution. He kept it quite short today. He gave you a little bit of economic lessons today, and hopefully you guys would have learned a little something there. You know, let me see something. So, like I told you, forgive me, somebody distracted me just now. Coming up, we have the Honorable Fitz Bramble. Do we talk Honorable to yes, the Honorable Fitz Bramble coming through, the East Kingston representative. He's going to be talking about the cost of living tracker that was recently launched. We want to hear more about that to get a little in depth. You guys on this live, the comments, man. When it says easy to watch paper and come up with all those summations, go up on the road and talk to real life flesh and blood people. Thank you so much. I think that happens a lot, you know. That happens a lot, you know. Experts come in here and they drop numbers and they drop statistics. Not just come in, but experts in general, or should I say so-called experts. I'm not speaking about Mr. Weeks. If he's listening, I'm not talking about, you know, or Mr. Hamilton. I'm just saying sometimes people come and they talk about, you know, they drop statistics and numbers and all these things, and they have no real feel about what's going on the ground. When you talk to the people, when you go out there in different communities and you talk to people and you hear exactly what's going on, you know, how they are affected, and you see how much people are affected, it's completely different. And I'm always like, I was just saying to Shady, like Mr. Weeks, and you keep hearing it, that our population is estimated to be around 110,000. And this is for years, decades now. It's estimated to be around 100. And we keep doing census. Are you telling me after the census done, that number it don't go up? The estimation don't go up? I'm not saying you would get it exact, right? But shouldn't the estimation number go up? But yet it's just...
Still at 110.
Listen. Let me do what I'm supposed to be doing, huh? Let me do what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, I am so thankful to the gentleman who called me just now. I was inquiring, and I'm so glad you guys are there listening to me today. I was actually inquiring about a story that I read, and I wanted to know what the $300 was for. The individual who assaulted, I want to get the story right for you, right? A laborer. Let me just get it right for you, right? We're not straying. On Monday, the 21st of August, this is the story. Calroy Lavier, 22-year-old laborer of Rilland Hill, was arrested and charged with assault and bodily harm. Lavier is accused of striking a 17-year-old student of LAU on his head with a cutlass and pushing him against the wall. Now, the offense was committed in Rilland Hill about 12 o'clock. Lavier appeared at the Kingston Magistrate Court on Tuesday, pleaded guilty, and he was fined $300 forthwith or 1 month in prison. So I was basically asking, what is the $300 for? I was wondering if the $300 was for maybe compensation or, medical bills. I wasn't sure. So I was trying, and he called and he said that was the $300 is to be paid to the state. So if you were like me and you are wondering, yes, the money is to be paid to the state because it's an assault against the state, right? So I want to thank you so much for that clarification. He also went on to say that if you need compensation for damages caused to you, you have to file for that separately. So thank you so much for that compensation, that explanation, for that explanation right there. Let me see. I wanted to touch on what happened yesterday, day before yesterday, I think it was the wall at the wall at Glen that collapsed. We actually were trying to go out there and get some shots, get some in-depth footage of exactly all the damage that was done, etc. But we were unable to do that at that point in time. I am hoping that everybody, all the various towns and villages across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not separating, not leaving out you guys within the various Grenadine Islands. You guys see yourself as separate, most of you are separate from mainland. But I hope you guys are paying attention to your representatives, how they have been treating you, for the past, 4 or 5 years, right? 4 years. I hope you watch that. I hope you see how often they come around. I hope you see you're looking at whatever contributions that they're making, not even contribution, how they're assisting you. I hope you're looking at initiatives that they're implementing. What are they doing for your community? Are they hearing you? How often they do town hall meetings to address or to hear what's going on with you, what kind of concerns you may have. These are things you're supposed to be looking at this point in time. It doesn't really and truly happen all the time. A lot of people don't do it, but I hope you're paying attention, because when they do come around, because for sure these representatives are going to come around when they need your vote. I hope you have all the information to tell them as to why you are not going to vote for them or why you are going to vote for them. All right? Y'all need to stop taking the little bit of money that they're giving you. $500 ain't the money. Do you know that? $300 ain't the money. It might stop a crack. It might, but not a hole. It no longer stops a hole. $300, $100 is $20, y'all. You understand? You hear how much your coffee? Y'all hear how much your coffee? Y'all see how prices gone up? You see how transportation gone up? The money that you could have give people before and have them be satisfied and stop a little hole, that don't work no more. Y'all need to stop selling all the votes for a whole heap of little bit of money or laptop or tablets. You understand? Or galvanize or lumber. And sometimes come see the amount of galvanized they get. Well, some people tend to get more than others from what I see, right? Depending on how popular you are, probably depends on, or how hard you push, or depends on how much cement blocks and galvanized, those things you get. How are your children going to benefit? I really want you to think about these things, huh? Think about these things. I'm going to tell you something. Where I'm living now, I have not seen, I don't ever recall seeing the representative. I haven't recalled hearing anything throughout the community that there's going to be town hall meeting to discuss this or whatever. You understand? I haven't heard about any initiatives. I don't know. But I hope y'all are watching. And this next election is a critical one. Eh? Y'all see what's going on in the economy.
Such a joke.
No, Trust me. Every people living overseas, they're like, you hear what Max say? They're always shocked as to how we're making it. You understand? You know how embarrassing that is? How embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Somebody says, "So you think, Joe, we need more of that?" No, for real. People need to stop doing that. You understand? Before, when it would have cut it, I have seen it done. Done. They would have get a few galvanized, some plywood, and for what? I know personally of I will call it a shack, but it's a little house that went up with those things. The person already had a main building. It was like another room / house for probably the one of the children, right? And come see it today. It's not there. It's not there. So next another election coming up, and it's not there anymore because it done rotten down. You understand? You might see the galvanized, but the place was built with galvanized and plywood, and some little bit of blocks on the flooring structure. That's what you're selling your vote for. How are your children going to benefit from that? I'm just saying. Yeah. Anywho, let's get into these comments. I am so looking forward to having to hearing about this tracker and hearing what it does. I'm sure, guys, that you want to know what it's going to do, what kind of difference it's going to make, so you can decide you can decide for yourself if it's something that you are interested in. Somebody said, Vinci, people forget that saying, eat them out, drink them out, and vote them out. Guys, I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all. I really don't know. But book it for sure. We have to go to commercials. Yes, we do. We have 4 minutes until the 9 o'clock hour. Somebody said, Jill, don't we start growing our own coffee in Vinci cocoa farm? I'm not 100% sure, exactly the situation with that. I know we have our local chocolate. I think we have our local, yes, we have our own coffee growing here. It's very expensive. Okay. Well, for people like me, it's very expensive. For others, I was given a taste of it. I've never bought it, but somebody who could afford it bought it, and they tried it. And I tried it. It was good. I actually have a coffee tree in my backyard. I had to Google to see when I'm supposed to pick them. The beans are there, but they're green. So I had to Google to see, like, when am I supposed to pick these beans? Because the tree full of beans, green beans, and I'm ready. I thought you were supposed to pick the coffee beans and then put them to dry, but apparently you have to wait until they're a bit reddish. So, guys, listen, do things, do things. That's how we survive, and we're doing things. We have our own little backyard farm. That's how Vincentians are making it. Besides those who would, depend on their relatives who live abroad, or the little handouts that they get. So, shame in the game right now. We do what we need to do to survive. Hopefully, you use this opportunity. This next election is a critical election, and I hope people know that it is a turning point. It decides the future of not just our children, but their children. Jill, 300 is plenty. Politicians give them $100 for 5 years. It grow there, but who own them? Oh my gosh, Winston. Oh my gosh. Someone says, it amazes me how Vincentians get it done. I have tenants with a salary of $1,500 per month. Rent is $600 per month, plus light, water, internet, food, transport, and kids. Don't know how they does it, but they do it. But I have tenants for more than 15 years. Don't know if other tenants make that much more. Let me tell you something, right? I know there are people here, And me at one point, we juggle bills. You have to be very skilled in juggling. But I'm telling you, if I make $1,500, there's no way I'm renting unless I have somebody else to help me pay that rent. You understand? So most likely they have a partner that helps them pay the rent, and they probably would cover the other expenses, and living hand to mouth. That's what you call it. You live hand to mouth and by whatever means necessary. I don't know how come you guys are surprised how we make it. We make it. Like I say, we're resilient. All right. And a lot of people probably have relatives that help them. I know before my mom, when she was alive, when she was in New York, she would be sending barrels as much as she can. She'd be packing over probably 2 to 3 to make sure we're good. Yeah. But when you don't have those things, you have to do what you got to do. You get them extra jobs. You get a side man or something, a side chick. That's what people doing. Just. Oh, we gotta go take a commercial break, right, JD?
We gotta go to the top.
Yes, and we gotta go to the top. It's 9:00. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
When's the last time you heard styles like these?
Are you ready for when we go show?
Party done.
Throwback Thursday. We giving you the best throwback, the anthems, and dance all great.
We like dance so good. Shake up your body, jiggle the back, your body, if a party, rub the fatty, dirty one.
Throwback Thursday.
When the top boy evolution.
Boom 1069.
Alright, no. Carino, Mr. We work hard every day, treat us like a slave. We work hard, we will feel good, and we're not in the race of day. Yeah. God every day, treat us like a slave. We work hard, we will feel.
Throwback Thursday.
More runway, God know more runway. More man a work hard on a Sunday. Monday to Monday, man a work hard. Not the sun for it. Some of you still can't buy me a Hyundai. Yeah, some work hard just to make my goal. Bad mind see me and I feel humble and the whole. Them can't hold me down like gravity. Them a use vanity for one long humanity. But how true vanity say, no true vanity. Nah, do my sanity. Money be spent till me all donate to every kid's a charity. We work hard every day, treat us like a slave. We work hard, we will feel good. Now so the raise of pay, yeah. God every day, treat us like a slave. We work hard, we will feel. I could have who said granny no miserable. If you live with your granny, you will turn granny too. And who said granny no love the cousin? For me granny, she cost me everything. Granny,
Stop hollering out my name.
Granny,
You calling me name in vain.
Granny,
Where you are calling me for?
me soul left for you and go live with mama.
Imagine, I can't take this country what we live in. Look how much money we have to pay for chicken. Rice and flour and corn meal is a sin. Want buy a milk and me can't buy the tin. Can't even get sugar now to do some sweetening. And so all the Jamaica go live in a parade. Oh Lord have mercy, I have to sing. Oh no, help me now. I used to turn corn meal and give me that, but that was long before it raised. See a boy, I can't turn corn meal no more on me yard, cause things get hard, yeah, oh Lord. Me say nowadays, rice gone up, oh Lord, chicken gone up, woo, flour.
We giving you the best throwback.
I love it.
On 1069.
That boy left from out of the dark from morning, and him don't come back. Is him and everything just get on top of me nerves. I so run left Jamaica and go live at Kingston.
I could have who said granny no miserable. If you live with your granny, you will turn granny too. And who said granny no love the cousin? For me granny, she cost me everything. Granny,
Stop hollering out my name.
Granny,
You calling me name in vain.
Granny,
Where you are calling me
me soul left you and go live with mama.
Imagine, I can't take this country what we live in. Look how much money we have to pay for chicken. Rice and flour and cornmeal is a sin. Want buy a milk and me can't buy the tin. Can't even get sugar now to do some sweetening. As soon as I Jamaica and go live in a parade. Oh Lord have mercy, I have to sing. Oh no, help me now. I used to turn cornmeal and give me that, but that was long before it raised. See a boy, I can't turn cornmeal no more on me yard, cause things get hard, yeah, oh Lord. Me say nowadays, rice gone up, oh Lord, chicken gone up, woo, flour, it gone out of space. Wheel up a rhythm there, I can't catch that note here. Come again one more time there for me. Oh, hear me now.
Granny,
stop hollering out me name.
Granny,
oh you calling me name in vain.
Granny,
oh you call me name for.
Me soul left you, I go live with mama. And who said Granny no miserable? If you grow with your granny, you will turn granny too. And who said Granny don't love the cussing? For me granny man, she cost me everything.
Son, I'll just tell you, you have to look before you leave. You can't plant corn and a piece you want reap. You don't start the journey, then how you feel reach? Take up the broom, cause the yard was sweep. Look by your bed, you know, spread it up with your sheet. Me tell you to do something and I'll know you not do it. Turn some cornmeal, let me get it to eat. I so go me have cause me lost me false teeth.
Granny,
stop hollering out my name. Granny, you calling me name in vain. Granny, why you want call me for?
Me so left you, I go live with mama.
$1 and no money, lunch alone, don't we not deal with no man when all the time. Defend the honey, tell them that I run it, we not deal with no man when all the time. $1 and no money, lunch alone, don't we not deal with no man when all the time. Defend the honey, tell them that I run it, we not deal with no man when all the time.
Like I say, work the money, and bring it come. Work the money, get that teen, I love some.
Throwback
Thursday,
Thursday.
and bring it come. Nah, get no money, then no make it pick your plum. So work the money, and bring it come. Work the money, get that teen, I love some. Work the money.
The number one morning show in the SVG.
Morning.
OMG in the morning.
Come on now.
OMG in the morning. Those of you who are just coming through, welcome. Those of you who've been with us since 6 o'clock, thank you so much for enduring. Like I told you guys before, we have the Honorable Mr. Fitz Bramble, the representative for East Kingstown, here with us, and he is going to be enlightening us about the newly launched cost of living tracker. That's what you call it.
Yes.
By the New Democratic Party. He is here. He looks very prepared, ready to go, energized. So how are you, first and foremost?
Well, morning, Jill. Morning, Shady. Morning, everybody. All the listeners and so on. I'm fine. I'm doing quite well. I had to hustle out to the gym. I try to go to the gym and stay in a little bit of shape every morning. So then when I look up and I see 20 minutes to 9, I say, boy, I don't want Jill kill me because that could be a different kind of killing from Bing. So I had to hustle out and get out here. No, man, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. And thanks for asking. You look well. You guys look well in here. I guess it's because Bing not wrong. I hope you're listening.
Now, let me just read this these comments. Right, we've been talking about reparations. We talked about Jomo talked about reparations.
Yeah, listen.
It has been
Jomo.
a trickle down of conversation, and then Mr. Weeks came in and he talked about. He gave us a talk about economics, and we're now into cost of living and all these things. Somebody said, Jill, we don't start growing our own coffee. He was asking on the cocoa farm, but then he went on to say that people need to wake up and stop turning their entire yards into concrete and leave the soil to grow. Times are hard and we need to stop living hand to mouth, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And this is something that we are doing. Everybody is basically just surviving at this point due to how hard the economy is, due to nothing circulate. Due to very little circulation within the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this cost of living tracker, tell us about it. Tell us, how are we going to benefit of it? What is the purpose of this? I want to get straight into the meat of the matter.
Let me start with the end first in terms of your question. The purpose of it is really to sensitize and to provide information to people in general about what's happening around them, to give you, as we call it, discrete and quantifiable information, rather than people just speculating. You know, once you have the data, you can make better decisions and better choices. But more importantly, to continue to bring this issue, the seriousness of this issue of cost of living and the rapid increase in prices over a short period of time, to continue to bring that to the government and to other stakeholders, businesses, the private sector, and so on, so that they can understand. Well, I hope they understand, but this is something that we have to prioritize in terms of addressing it. Let me back up now and give a quick, a sort of a brief explanation of what the tracker is. It's basically looking at the increase in prices of basic commodities, basic items that people would, use on an everyday basis pretty much to live. You know, you have your basic food stuff, your milk, your rice, your flour, bread, toilet paper, cooking oil, for ladies, their personal items, those kinds of sanitary pads. No, I'm not afraid to say it, but so that is basically, and incidentally, in our economy, we have something called the cost of price index, the CPI, right? The consumer price index, sorry, that's me different. The consumer price index, which basically takes a basket of goods, basic items that we believe we need for daily living, and it's indexed. So in other words, the basket of goods, you place it at 100 or at 1, or let's say for ease of explanation, at $1. So all these goods in that basket, we place them at $1. Now, when you track the increase or the changes in prices of these goods in this basket, the average generally, then you can index it. So for example, right now, you put it to a base year. So I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. Right now, the base year for our consumer price index is 2010. Okay. So in other words, the basket of goods that we use to measure the change in prices, that was established in 2010, those prices, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's say you had a carrot, a tomato, a pound of sugar, and a pound of rice. In 2010, those 4 items, we valued it at $1. Okay. So now in 2023, the consumer price index is now at 1.23, which means that those 4 items which cost $1 in 2010 is now costing you $1.23 in 2023. That's the best way I can explain it. So you can, so I am going to also be using the consumer price index to help me track the changes in prices. Okay. Usually it's done every year, the CPI, but because of how things are happening so rapidly, I mean, I heard Jomo talking about the change in the price of something within the last 6 months. I think it was coffee, right? Increased by 60-something%, I think he said. And that is true for a lot of other items, So we have to stay on top of it, because people need to understand what's happening around them in order to make choices, as I said before. But more importantly, and I'll come to this later on, the government in particular, we need, I think greater effort needs to be put into addressing this issue. And I know some people say, well, it's not the government's fault why prices go up. And that is true. It's not totally their fault, but to some extent they are responsible. And I'll point to that in a little bit as well. But more importantly, in small economies such as ours, where our market is not as strong and as big and as vibrant enough to regulate itself. So, for example, in basic economics, they tell you that the interaction of buyers and sellers would determine what prices of commodities usually are, right? Because, so for example, if you go in the market, Jill has something for $5, I might have it for $4, somebody else might have it for $3, and because people would shop around and eventually gravitate to the lower price, then that would ultimately bring the general to bring down their price. Yes. But in our situation, our market is not that strong. The market doesn't regulate itself, so there's need for some level of regulation. And in our case, the default regulator obviously would have to be the government. Now, that in itself could create some problems, because if we're supposed to have price control mechanisms in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Isn't that what Consumer Affairs is for?
That yes, partially, and there are some other agencies which I remember back in the day. You used to have people going wrong to shops and so on and checking on the prices to make sure that shopkeepers are within that range. And I heard Jomo talking, alluding to this whole issue of price gouging this morning. And it is so true. You could go to 2 different business places within within the distance of, say, 100 yards. And you'd be amazed at the difference in the prices for the same item. Now, how do you explain that? You know? So, and who controls that? Who regulates that? Do we need to regulate it? Those are some of the questions we need to ask. So, but to back up a little bit now, with the price, the consumer, the cost of living tracker, is basically to do that. We're gonna look over a period of time. Like, for example, just I was looking at some statistics from the stats department here, because they also provide information on cost of living and the CPI and cost of the consumer price index and so on. And there's some items between June and now, the prices have increased by over 60-something%. And we're talking about items like vegetables, chicken wings. Within the space of 3 months, the end of the last quarter was June. So this third quarter would end at the end of September. And I would shudder to think what the change in the prices would be at the end of September, during the third quarter only, you know? So it's really, really serious. And I also made a point in my presentation and that introductory video, and stop me at any time, Jill, because you know I could talk forever.
I know, go ahead.
I also made the point that the average Vincentian worker, and people need to listen carefully what I say. I never said the average Vincentian. I said the average Vincentian worker earns somewhere between $1,500 maybe to $2,000 a month, give or take. And I know some people say, but Bramble, that's very high, because we know that a lot of people earn less than that. But there are also high-income earners as well that would bring that average, you know, somewhere around that area. The government, for example, is the largest single employer. And, you know, invariably, a worker, somebody who's going into work in the government for the first time would earn anywhere from $1,200, $1,500, depending on the level. So that would sort of skew the average a little bit up. You know, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on that though, and try to do some manipulation of the statistics to give it a better weight. But right now it's about that, and I'm telling you that in conjunction with that, the average Vincentian, I ain't talking about family, you know, the average Vincentian individual is paying close to $1,000, give or take, a month just for basic food and basic essentials. You know, as an economist, I like to use the figures, but even without that, you just have to walk around town and go in a couple supermarkets, go down in the market, go in a couple shops. Easily, you can spend over $1,000 just to provide basic items. And I ain't talking about then you have to talk, we're talking about electricity and water. That's not even included as yet. And if you're paying rent, and if you're living out of town and you have to catch van, or even if you're not catching van and you have a car, you have to buy gas. So you understand the severity and the seriousness of this thing. Anytime you have a situation where you're paying at least half or more of your income to provide basic items, you have a crisis. We have a crisis. So we have a cost of living crisis as far as I'm concerned, and it has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed immediately. I think the government needs to take the lead on this. They've attempted a few measures last budget. You know, they talk about increasing public servant salaries by 2%, I think it was. They provided some relief over a period of time for I think it was farmers and so on. But that is not even close to scratching the surface of what needs to be done.
And I think I saw somewhere they're looking at reducing the cost of VAT on electricity.
Yeah, well, I don't know if
are they just going to be looking at it just to look at it and see how much it goes up, or are they going to be trying to do something physically about it?
You know,
look at it.
The problem. One of the things that I have observed in our country is that we are a very reactive people. Something happened today, and everybody jump up and we react and we talk about it. And when I say everybody, including the government, we react, and after a while, and people stop talking about it, then we forget about it.
We have a call. Can we just take this call real quick?
Yes.
Good morning. You're live on OMG.
Morning, me again. Fitting me have to call when you depend this forum.
Yeah, me Virgin Max.
And dialogue with you.
Yeah, man.
What's going on?
Everything
no,
good.
I hear we talk everything great. Once we realize everything else that can fall in place. No, I hear the government talking about minimum increase payment for public servants. Are they talking about reducing our bill? Because if you increase pay, but cost of living go up more than the increase. So if pay increase 2%, but cost of living go up 4%.
Exactly.
You're still at a loss.
Exactly.
And remember, at one point in time,
Remember at one point in time they say agriculture is dead and they're pushing tourism. And also they're talking about reducing the fuel surcharge. And I've been asking this question and they don't refuse to answer my question because I'm not on their intellectual level. Me do it plus that. All these solar farms that they jump up and cap and rage about. What impact these solar farms had on our fuel surcharge? Because we're talking about investment, and I don't hear them talking about return on the investment. And that is something that we don't pay attention about. Pay attention to in St. Vincent. We clap about investment, but we're not talking about the return on the investment. I go listen off it.
Thanks, Max.
And Max is on to something, some of the solutions that I would touch on in a little bit. But the reality is, as I said, Jill and listeners, is that we are in a crisis here. Now, the New Democratic Party, which I represent proudly as well, we have made some proposed solutions. We did this way back in 2020 in our manifesto. And one of the biggest ones we have been proposing is a reduction in the VAT from 16 to 13% initially. And hopefully, at some point, we can look at reducing it even more. Now, let me put things in perspective. Of course, government needs revenue to run the country. I'm putting it in very simple layman terms. So we're not stupid. Because when we get into government, we're going to have to deal with that issue as well. We're going to have to be able to raise revenue to run the country. But there's raising revenue, and there's raising revenue in such a way that you don't kill people. To use the proverbial, the cliche, so to speak. Now, if you're a worker, if you're employed, you pay income tax, right? Only people who work pay income tax. So that's a section of the society. If you own property, you pay property tax. So that's a section of the society. If you don't own property, you don't pay property tax. If you're not working, you don't pay income tax. If you own a business, you pay business tax, right? But regardless to whether you own a business, whether you own a property, whether you're working, unemployed, a man on the street, every single person has to pay VAT. Once you go in an establishment and you spend your money on a particular item or items, you have to pay VAT. So it impacts the entire population, and that is why we believe targeting the VAT would have a greater positive impact in terms of bringing some sort of relief to the general population. Everybody is feeling the pinch, Everybody, even guys who making $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month, they're gonna tell you, boy, things rough now. So this is something that and let me tell you this. I think so that's one of the things the NDP propose. Another thing we're proposing is to look at the list of items which are charged, on which you charge a VAT, and see if we can reduce some more of them. The VAT simply means value added tax. So you're adding a tax on anytime there's a product or a service on which you add value from its original state, then you charge a tax on it, right? Which is something that we need to look at as well, because I am of the view that some items are being double vatted. You might pay VAT at a particular place on something. Let's say you might pay VAT on flour, and then a restaurant takes the flour and make a roti, and you go and you pay VAT on the roti too.
So let me ask you something real quick for clarification for people out there who are listening. If you have a product that is in demand by your consumers, the more it's in demand, the more VAT gets added to it.
No. The percentage stays the same.
Okay.
But in absolute terms, the money that you collect from VAT would increase. So, for example, if the price of a bread is $1, when you buy that bread, the 16% VAT, that means you're paying $1.16. I don't think is there VAT on bread? I can't remember. I don't even know. But anyway, I'm just using that as an example for explanatory purposes, right? No. If okay, well, let's say there's an item X costs $1, and it's VATable, then you pay 16% on that item X. That gives you means you have to pay $1.16. Now, if that item X is increased, the price increases from $1 to $2, the VAT remains at 16%. Now you're paying $2.32 instead of $1, instead of the 16 cents that you were paying when the price was lower. So in other words, when the price goes up, even though the percentage of VAT remains the same, you're still collecting more money now, because the percentage of a number If the percentage of a number remains the same and that number increases, then that percentage in absolute terms also increases. What you're getting from that percentage, you know what I mean? So that is why we believe you can lower the VAT, because prices are going up. If you lower the VAT, you provide some relief to people, and people have a little bit more money to spend. Now, somebody tried to make the argument that, well, if people are spending more money, that's going to drive up the prices even more. Well, that if you're looking at pure economic theory, there are a couple of types of inflation. There's something that we call demand pull inflation, meaning the economy may be doing so well, people may be making so much money and doing so well that they just start spending like crazy. You know, you go to the stores, you buy 3 new pair of jeans because money good, you know, you're making a good set of money. Now, that type of increase in demand by consumers would ultimately drive prices up.
Okay.
If you own a business and people keep coming in every Saturday and you see the crowd getting bigger and bigger, at some point you're going to raise the price. It's basic human psychology, you know? So there's demand pull inflation. And somebody was trying to argue with me and tell me, well, that is what's happening in St. Vincent. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Where people getting money from to go buy and increase their demand? No way. In fact, people are struggling to cut back and to see how they can chop and change and change their lifestyles and so on, just to make ends meet. The type of inflation that we're having here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines mostly is what we call cost push inflation, because the cost of doing business, the cost of producing goods and services, that is going up. And so that cost is passed on to the consumer via an increased price. So I know that I heard Jomo talking about the issue of the war in Ukraine. And to some extent, that contributes. What's happening externally in terms of increased production, supply chain disruptions, and so on. That's having an impact on the increase on the prices of goods and services.
Just for clarification, he was saying that's what some of the excuses that people were using.
Right. Well, okay. And that is true.
It wasn't from him. It was just...
I know, and that is true. Some people are using it as an excuse, but to some extent, it's contributing to the increase in global prices generally. And to add insult to injury, our economy is a heavily import-dependent economy. We import so much into this country. I mean,
which I don't understand, because a lot of the things that we import,
we can produce right here. And I'm gonna come to that quickly. But just to show you, just to put things in perspective, let me put on my economics hat here. And again, as a former teacher, I try to break it down as simple as possible.
Before you get into that, can we take this call?
Yes,
quickly?
Definitely.
Good morning. You're live on OMG. Hello. Good morning. Okay, I guess we lost our caller. Go ahead.
Our trade deficit right now, the trade deficit simply means the amount of money that you spend on importing goods relative to the amount of money that you make when you export goods. So it's like if you have a little thing at your home, you're saving up your money and you save all in your little piggy bank. You save up $10, right? That $10 might come from whatever. You sell a little sugar cake, you sell a little lemonade, and you save up that money. But then you're taking that money now and you're going somewhere and spending more of it, almost all of it, or more than all of it, on buying something that you didn't make. Something other than the sugar cake and the lemonade and so on. In St. Vincent, our trade deficit right now is close to $1 billion. Meaning, I think the last time I checked, it was like $800 and something million. That is the difference between the money that we spend to import goods into this country and what we earn from exporting. Okay? So we are spending almost $1 billion more to buy stuff to bring into St. Vincent than we are earning from producing goods in St. Vincent and exporting to me. And also, the thing is, a majority of our trading partners are countries whose currencies are stronger than ours. So we now have to, things obviously would be more expensive because if we import in something from the US, instead, one US is worth $2.67 here in EC dollars. So you see what I'm talking about. You see the problem here. So we have to start now looking at how can we substitute a lot of these things that we are importing and not only producing them to substitute the importation of some of these goods, but also producing so that we can export and earn some valuable foreign exchange. If you export goods to the US, it's almost 3-1 you get in because of the exchange rate. You know, it's basic common sense. So now how do you reduce your balance of trade? Well, you combine it by importing less. As you said, Jill, there's so much that we can produce here. In 2020, In 2020, St. Vincent and the Grenadines spent $66 million to import poultry and poultry products, chicken, eggs, cheese, and these things.
And
Come
we have
on.
local farms right here.
Come on. You know what I mean? Our food import bill is $400 million. That's what it was 2.5 years ago. And I'm quite sure it's almost double now. Next time I come around, I'll have more discrete figures for you. But those things are totally unacceptable. We cannot be spending $400 million to import food into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, when we have fertile land, yeah, we may not, we have some challenges, but where are the programs and the support mechanisms to help people, encourage people in small farm production and so on, backyard gardening, and these are real things that can make real differences,
Somebody's asking a question. They said that it may do, but I want to see the calculations because he will have to cut some services funded through VAT. What is a better idea is to cut income tax to a flat rate.
Okay, that is a mechanism that can also be used. But you can cut the income tax, and I think the government attempted to do that. I think they decreased the threshold from 22,000 to 20,000. So if you're making 20,000 or less, you don't have to pay income tax or something like that. The issue with the income tax, as I said, and that could have some reach, because if you cut the income tax, people have more disposable income. But then, as Max quite rightly said, and in terms of the similar concept resides with if you increase salary. You have to now juxtapose that with the increase in prices, because if you cut income tax by 2% or 3% and prices continue to increase by 5, 6, 7, 8%, then it really, the impact is not going to be as effective. And then in addition to that, remember, there's only a certain percentage of the population who has to pay income tax. So that would only benefit a certain percentage of us, whereas the increase in prices affecting everybody. Yes. So the cutting the VAT, you could cut the VAT in addition to maybe looking at reducing income taxes. But bear in mind also that we have to be very prudent and sensible about how we go about doing this. This would have to take some serious analysis, because you don't want to impact government revenue to the extent where other areas of the economy and the society are also going to suffer.
All right. To that caller, feel free to call back. Yes.
And while I'm on that, and I don't want to be jumping all over the place, because I want people to really understand. But since the issues come up, I try to address them at the same time. We have a problem in this country with our tax administration, and by that I mean Can
you just put a pin in that? Let's take this call. Okay. Good morning, you're live on ONG.
Morning, me again. I might get tired of me this morning because I'm going to keep calling when a question presents itself. Now, as far as reducing VAT, say I have $20 to spend, and VAT only, because the VAT is so high, it only allow me to buy one item. But if VAT is reduced, and the reduction is in VAT, actually allow me to buy two items. And the $20 better enough. My daughter could eat two things for lunch today.
Exactly.
But the same amount of dollars gone back into the economy. So reducing VAT is basically a slight inconvenience for the government getting the money, If all they really check it, because when you reduce VAT, it gives people more spending power, and the money still going back into treasury.
Exactly, and it circulates in the economy.
Okay then, but no, my morale is boosted, because instead my daughter getting one item, she might get a lunch and a little piece of ice cream after. If my daughter happy, I am happy, and when I happy in society, all of we going to be motivated to do better.
Precisely.
So VAT is not only a monetary thing, and I have to look at the psychology of reducing VAT.
Yeah. Max, I'll bring you in my econ class next time, boy. to help
break it down. One said could set us St. Vincent and the Grenadines and down for whatever.
That's right. And we have to work together, including the sharing of ideas. That's a very good example and explanation. Thanks for that.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Max.
Yeah.
Someone, so let me just read this comment real quick. Someone is saying that you can't get no production no time soon because too much of our young men is in prison, I guess. No backbone to help drive our economy. Mail is needed.
Yeah, it's a myriad, it's a myriad of issues, man. But then you have to go back and look. And by the way, some of these solutions, they're different time, they're time sensitive. There's some medium term solutions, long term solutions. One of the solutions that I believe, and I alluded to it earlier, we definitely have to reduce our level of import. And you can do that by creating more jobs, expanding the economy, and boosting your level of exports to earn valuable foreign exchange, so that the economy would now have more money to spend, and the economy would be more vibrant. And as Max said, the psychological impact would be much less negative, because people feel better about themselves. Can you imagine you working and you have a job and you're making money, as opposed to just sitting down every day with nothing to do and don't know where your next dollar coming from?
We have a caller. Good morning to you.
Yeah, I was making a point there earlier on, trying to get some information from the celebrated economists you have there.
Morning.
Morning, good morning. Yeah, I was making a point to that. I don't know how much you can stretch a dollar. Our housewives are the best economists to say in all of this.
That is true.
But from an administrative standpoint, the current VAT is about 16.5%, something like that.
16%.
15. And what I'm suggesting here, you go to the super. Only yesterday I can't go to the supermarket like I used to. I tried to get some snacks, and what I realized, on every item, a pack of biscuits, they put it on a 5 cents.
Mm-hmm.
They put it on a 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
On every basic item.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know when all of that add up, they because no fool yourself. I don't think the business people want to lose a damn cent or 1% or whatever the case might be. They want to see their profit margins remain the same all the time.
But Dave, sorry to interrupt you. The business person doesn't own the VAT, When they are the middleman, they collect the VAT for the government. So
right.
if the VAT is reduced, it's not doing anything to their profits.
So then, since you make that intercession there, it means that the fault is with the government and how they're able to maneuver or to be, to know how to be the real economists and how to stimulate the economy. Because I was making a point too that if you have a population and less than half, I don't know what percentage of our population is working because you're hearing all kind of political information, which to me is a whole set of lies and trying to jump up your head, as the people say.
Yeah.
And you can't, right away there's an imbalance. If you don't have enough people making, or working to take care of and you keep taxing.
Yeah.
I think taxes is the biggest revenue earner in our country right now.
Yeah.
And it's killing poor people like me.
Yeah.
I mean, I never used to be so poor. Huh?
Yeah.
But
I don't think anybody's ever been this poor.
If I am not, it's only a real person would be afraid, would it's only a real person who would talk about the squeeze, how the pressure that you're feeling.
Yeah.
So I am hoping, I'm glad that you, as the incoming, you have the seat, I hope East Kingston supports you and that you can, having had some international experience, been around for a while, I hope you can bring something fresh and make life better for us. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Yeah,
You
thank,
too.
and I appreciate that comment by Dave. But just to say as well that we in the NDP. I mean, I'm the economist. I'm but we have other people in our team with experience in economics, in business, not just experience but training as well. And whereas I might be the flagship, so to speak, or the front person with regards to economic issues and economic development, we approach this thing from a team standpoint. And I think that is going to make a big difference. In fact, I am confident that is going to make a big difference regarding how we move forward and how we really tackle these challenges that are confronting us. The bottom line is that we have to increase economic activity. And the best way to do that is to create jobs. How do you create jobs? Well, you can't create jobs if you don't have activities on which people can work. So things like agriculture, that is our base. We don't have oil, we don't have gold, we don't have diamonds. We have land. God bless us with land. And even though we are a small country geographically and in terms of physical size, we can at least produce enough to feed ourselves.
Definitely.
Easily.
But with that point, let's just take a quick commercial pause and we'll be back. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the track. Is it an app?
No, it's not an app. It's just
how do you? I want to know how you use it or who can use it. But when we come back, we'll talk on all of those.
No problem.
Okay, quick commercial pause, guys, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. OMG in the morning.
Thinking of winning the lotto jackpot? Well, there is an easy way. Combo Play. Choose.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live. Party.
Always wanted a motorcycle, but they've been too expensive. I pass in on my way to work, and then boom, I see courts of motorcycles outside. I'm excited. I get up one day, I go down, I spoke to this guy. I think his name was Sheena, this short, chubby little guy, I purchased 2 bikes so far. It was the 150 SL and the 250 Dragon. This blue, beautiful AKT TT Dragon, this is my baby. I call her Becky. She gives me the best ride ever. My name is Storyboy Nick, and I live to ride my AKT.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Your vision is our mission at Quartz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.quartzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in store for details.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Discover New Guinness Smooth. Perfectly balanced for a smooth, refreshing taste. New Guinness Smooth.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in-store for details.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Find a home with the people of St. Vincent.
Throwback Thursday.
It is Throwback Thursday on the trending station, and right now it's OMG in the morning time. And with us, we have representative from East Kingstown, the Honorable Mr. Fitz Bramble, and he's here talking about the cost of living tracker. And just to wrap up real quick, we were talking off air. I asked you if it was an app because I assumed it was an app.
Yeah.
Just enlighten us real quick.
Yeah, well, it's basically a process right now. I'm going to be tracking the changes in prices over a period of time and bring it. But you're not the first person to ask about whether or not it's an app. And I think that'll be really cool if we can develop an app to present that kind of information. So that is something that I'm going to go back to the party and to our party and the experts in that area and see if we can actually provide something like that so people can have that information at their fingertips, But in the meantime, until such time, I'll still be coming back periodically and letting people know, bringing in real numbers, real life in real time, changes, what's going on, so people can have a better idea. But just very quickly, Jill, I and maybe I'd have to come back if you guys would be so gracious to allow me to come back to continue, because this is very important. But I just wanted to re-emphasize, I started touching on some of the solutions.
Someone is asking, what is your solution
right.
as an economist?
Right. And we talked about, for example, the reduction in VAT. I think we also have to look at the list of items which are on which VAT's charged and see how if we can further reduce that list. I think some temporary relief, particularly to low-income workers, and that is something that our party, the NDP, has been proposing, some temporary relief, income support, or whatever you want to call it, to of course you have to study this and figure out how best to do it. But these are things, a reduction on reducing the fuel surcharge on our VINLEC bill. Fuel surcharge is basically just gives you an insurance for the fluctuation in oil prices. So you have that there now. The fuel surcharge is like some money in the kitty. If oil prices go up, you have a little bit of money to help cushion that. So when oil prices go down, the fuel surcharge is supposed to go down.
Exactly.
But it doesn't. And in fact, just yesterday, somebody was telling me that all this thing about VINLEC disconnecting people, and that is a whole other issue I'm not going to get into. But I was amazed to learn that when you get disconnected from VINLEC and you have to pay that connection fee, that reconnection fee, that VAT is being charged on that reconnection fee, I got to check that out, because if that is the case, some economic genius got to explain to me the rationale behind that. But there are other things that, like long-term solutions. Obviously, as I keep saying, we have to grow the economy. We have to create jobs. There's so many things we can do to grow our economy, to stimulate economic activity, and to basically improve the lives of our people. You know, we have to look at reducing our import bill. There's no way we should be spending $400-500 million to import food into this country. 60-something million dollars to import chicken and those things. Those are real opportunities that we can create for our people by providing up those opportunities to produce chicken and more chicken and eggs and so on.
But we have local farmers here. I'm sure they can form some kind of cooperation
Right.
with government assisted help.
Exactly,
you know.
the government support. We also have to push more for this buy local. We need to intensify our buy local campaign. You know, why for example can't you buy some upon a ferry instead of buying a box of cornflakes? You know, and these kinds of things. So it's a whole, and we have to collaborate on this. The government.
This one last call. Good morning, you're live on OMG.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Bramble?
Yes, sir. Good morning. How are you? This sound like Frank, my friend.
This is Frank.
How you doing, man?
I'm fine. You just touched on something there.
Mm-hmm.
That fuel surcharge.
Yes.
And it has to be gotten rid of, period.
Mm-hmm.
You live in America, you live in Canada, you ever see a bill with a fuel surcharge on it?
No, those economies are different.
No. Don't do that.
You're
Don't do that.
You're right, Frank.
This is affected according to them here by the fluctuating price of oil.
Exactly.
Doesn't the price of oil, these are fluctuating price of oil affect those countries? Don't do that, Bramble, please.
My apologies, my friend.
No, you sorry I got in so late, but I hope you come back.
Yeah, I hope so. And this is a very important point, Frank. I think this is a topic that could take up a whole program, and I hope Jill and Bing and them will invite me back.
It has to be gotten rid of. I got the documentation here from St. Lucia and other places to make some comparison between what the price is for a unit in St. Lucia as to the price for a unit in St. Vincent and Grenadines.
Yeah, and Frank, it also points to the fact that we need to start looking at more resilient forms of energy, renewable energy. There's no reason why we should be spending so much money to provide electricity from fossil fuels. It's dangerous, it's destructive to the environment.
Bambo,
yes, sir.
I don't think you want to go there.
I am going there.
Fossil fuel thing, okay?
I am
because
going there.
Anything else you want to talk about will be far more expensive than fossil fuel.
Well, that is something that we're going to discuss. Okay. Once we get the opportunity.
You want to disfigure the landscape with windmills?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Well, what then?
Well, what about solar? What about solar energy?
Check out what's happening in Australia with solar energy, where the price has gone up by 500%.
Well,
okay? These people who are talking this thing, Bramble, not thinking about poor people. They're not thinking about what fossil fuel has done to lift the standard of living for poor people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Don't buy into that. But you see, I didn't want to get into that because I want to stick with no VAT.
Yeah.
I got a stated position on that forever.
Well, let's agree. Let's agree to come back, Frank, and because
right. Because anyhow you increase, that goes up, people buy less.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Your disposable income goes down. Exactly.
I hope you're back so we could have a serious discussion on these issues.
And we need to meet too. I haven't seen you in a while, so let's get together and have a chat sometime.
Give me a shout.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay.
So yes, Jill.
Yes.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I wanted to thank you for coming through real quick. If that was your last point,
yeah.
Because we have Pastor Richard coming through. It's actually his time we're on at the moment.
Pastor won't mind me stealing a couple of minutes.
We normally have to give him back his time,
all
and
right,
then we cut into the next shift.
But thanks for having me, and I
welcome.
hope I'll be given an opportunity to come, because this is not an exhaustive topic. I mean, we could talk about this every day, all day, because it affects people's lives in a very direct way. And Pastor may have something to say about it too, but thanks for coming. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome.
All right, no problem.
Thank you for coming again.
Yes.
All right, guys. So very in-depth, insightful. I hope you would have been able to garner exactly what the cost of living tracker is about. Unlike myself, who thought it was an app, I think we all thought it was an app. And hopefully it will progress to that point where we can get an app where everybody can go and see exactly how it's progressing. Right now, we have to make way for Dr. Richards. Let's check in with the doc.
Let's check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG.
It's now time to check in with the doc. He's patiently waiting as usual backstage. I owe him 7 minutes, which I would.
Unless Mario says otherwise, because at the end of the day, you could say you want to give me back 7 minutes, but Mario will call the shots on that. So.
Well, he is not here.
Let's max it. Let's max. When the cat's away, let the cat's away. The big cat is away. All right, Mario is away. Big is away. Come on.
Let's play. Let's play.
Good morning, Jill.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Shady. Good morning, Sylvester.
Morning, Pastor.
I know Mr. Bramble is gone. I wish you would have kept him on. Because I would have loved.
So you could have messaged me and tell me.
Well, it's all right. It's okay. As we say, it done gone. So
it done gone. So that was just a wishful thinking. You were just thinking out loud.
I was thinking, boy, if I get a chance, I'll interact with him on some things and get him to answer. He's an economist. He's that's who he is. He's into it. I used to dabble in the thing back in the. I was good at it actually. I was really good at it.
You used to dabble in it.
I used to dabble in it. I was really good. I was gifted.
You tried to come off some modest sometimes.
No. Is it true? I had for some reason, some things click with you. Mm-hmm. Economics and mathematics, statistics. Mm-hmm. Those things were like second nature to me. For whatever reason, it's not something that I had to work on terribly hard. It's just like I got it, I understood it. I used to be sharp at it, but I'm not that. After my life changed gears and I give more attention to some other things, I can't step into Mr. Bramble's realm in economics. So I would say that. But even so, I still have a little bit of rudimentary knowledge that would, as I try to assimilate what he said this morning, as I think from the standpoint of the average Vincentian, I'm wondering what we got out of that. I'm like, what we got? Okay, you, Jill, all right? What you got out of that? Because I was what was he trying to get us to get?
He is trying to get, from what I understood, that this cost of living tracker is basically a way to show how the prices, how cost of living is going to increase over a certain period of time.
Okay, good. All right.
Yes. So it's just for those who are not.
So if we're not aware that cost of living,
obvious, who can't see the obvious, right. Or who are not keeping track of it, or who don't have that mentality, something that you can to have the statistics right there.
Just proof then. You just present proof. Cost of living is increasing. So just in case you were wondering, cost of living is in fact increasing. So that's the sum total of it. Is that the sum total of it? His aim is to let Vincentians know that cost of living is increasing.
Basically.
You don't need okay, in case we didn't know, cost of living is increasing. I mean, go ahead.
So sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I'm reading the comments. I'm actually reading the comments while I'm speaking to you and answering your question at the same time. Yes. He's just trying to show you, my bad, it's not that cost of living. It's he's trying to show you exactly how the cost on certain commodities are going up, and different items. Just to break it down real quick. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm weighing if I should say what really is obvious to me, but some people sometimes it's he talked about. Okay, we have inflation. Inflation is a reality. Inflation is a reality all over the world. Let's be fair. All right. And even in very well managed economies, is something that is causing inflation. Even in very well managed economies, and it can't be that we are an economy that is import dependent, okay? Because in economies that are export rich and not import dependent, you have, in fact, it becomes even an election issue. I'm tracking what's happening in the United States and the inflation issue. The same thing that he's talking about, basket of goods, they're talking about egg prices and basic commodity prices that have gone up. Chicken prices was actually price of chicken, price of meat, restaurant prices, all of the things they have been talking about. The inflation is just a reality. I would like, and I think for political leverage and all of that, we would like to put the incidence of inflation, we like to nail it, culpability upon government inept measures or the ineptitude of government. We like to put it on that. And that would be true if inflation was singularly and solely a Vincentian reality. If inflation were, and by the way, this is not a political comment. So I'm not speaking as if Mr. Bramble is just, getting at NDP, his NDP. I have gone to a session just last year, actually, put on by Luke Brown, who everyone knows he is ULP. Okay, for those of you who think I'm being partial and all of that, I went to a session that was put on by Luke Brown at French's House. It was a discussion debate. The panel basically was Luke Brown and Dr. Justin, my good friend, Dr. Justin Robinson, who is a professor over there in Barbados. I think he's provost or something. He's now some big high position, but he's a very, very, very insightful gentleman. I've had many years of discussion with him. So I went to that discussion, and even from that side, they were talking about inflation, and I had questions too. So whether it is Luke presenting on behalf of the ULP, admitting the reality of inflation, Dr. Robinson presenting, hopefully impartially, but as a guest of the ULP guy, Luke, presented, or my friend there, Fitz Bramble, presenting. If you talk about inflation, I am going to want to ask questions that and to move it away from the realm that some posit it as is an offshoot of political ineptitude. We will have to dismiss that immediately. I heard what's his name from Canada, Spencer. He said, "Boy, no, it's not St. Vincent alone." I was listening to Spencer. Like, boy, if you were saying to Jomo, it is St. Vincent. It's Canada, and there are two drivers. It's all over the world. Is inflation. If we understand what causes inflation, we would know, number one, who to blame, or whether we should look locally to blame, whether we should look locally to blame some policy or some government or whatever. We'll know where to place the blame. If we understood the drivers of inflation. And also, Jill, I know I have limited time, but I will bring this to a close when I think I have made the point. So we have drivers of inflation and we have inhibitors of inflation. Remember those two things, Jill. Remember those two things.
Pastor, this is the second person that told me to ask you if you can stop spinning around the chair. The squeaking is overpowering your voice. Somebody told me so on the live. Somebody just told me that on the WhatsApp.
Okay, I get you. I'm not hearing a lot of squeaking here. If I
Yeah,
go
we
like
can
this,
we can hear it. It's
So
loud.
wait,
Yeah.
hold on. If I go like this, you're hearing a squeaking?
Yes, I can hear it.
Okay then.
We're hearing this squeaking.
All right, let me get to the point. And I think I appreciate that people want to hear the point. The point I'm making: inflation is a reality. We're not going to argue that, right? Jill, you're not going to argue that.
We're not going to argue it.
Inflation is not a Vincentian reality. We're not going to argue that, right?
It's not just a
It is not
Vincent.
excellent. It is not just a Vincentian reality. No arguments there. It's universal.
No.
No arguments there. Okay, good. Inflation can have both drivers, and Fitz was saying this, he was correct, drivers, but it could also have inhibitors. Any arguments there, anybody? Any arguments?
Anybody?
No arguments. Inflation has inhibitors, it has drivers. There are things, I mean, oh gosh, I was modest. I used to teach you things, all right? Inflation is a product. It happens because of certain things. I won't get into the nitty-gritties, but they're drivers. Fitz got into two things, which he's correct. Basically driven demand push, all right, or demand side in demand pull, inflation, and supply push, or cost side in inflation. All right, so you have things that cause inflation, people. You have things that cause inflation. All right, and in our unique position, I disagree, by the way, with Fitz, that he said categorically that our inflation is not demand pull. And on certain items that is true, but on many items, the demand. I watch rental car prices. I mean, I watch building construction prices. I watch a number of things that the average Vincentian, would have to subscribe to. There are a number of services that have gone up simply because the demand, tourism side and all of that, the demand for certain things have gone up and have pulled the prices upward, undoubtedly. But by and large, our demand is cost driven, and that's where we have very little control. Even when I went to the lecture given by Dr. Justin Robinson and Luke Brown, they're of the same opinion. It is cost driven, and the lion's share of that has external drivers. We import so much. Is cost driven. We have to ask ourselves, therefore, to what extent can we control the drivers and other small island developing states like ours, SIDS like ours? They're all grappling. And when we look not in an insulated way at St. Vincent, but when we look at the conglomerate of all these other small island developing states, we realize, I'm going to use the word ineptitude or our lack of ability. We have to come to the reality. We have to come to the reality that there are forces beyond us. That no matter what we do, we are susceptible. No genius is going to emerge that can solve our cost side inflation. Fitz nailed it. Our inflation is predominantly cost push. We will be fooling ourselves, we will be lying, we will be hypocritical to say, for example, if we change the government, we will solve the problem of cost push inflation. It's not going to happen. Look at the other small islands developing states. We are not an anomaly. We can't just do, we are part of that parcel, we are part of that description. We are part of that subset. Our hands are tied with respect to cost push inflation, as our hands are tied with respect to many things that befall small island developing states. We don't call the shots. We can't influence the chess moves. We can't. And that is a sad reality. And Fitz knows it. Fitz knows it that we can't. And like I said, inflation has two aspects. It has the drivers, and I just admitted, and Fitz would admit, we can do very little. We can't change the drivers. We are at their behest, their mercies. Anyone who has studied economics, even a modicum of economics, know this. We can't change the drivers. We don't call the shots. That's number one. Okay, so if we can't change the drivers, what about the inhibitors? Because like I said, inflation has two sides. If you could control how it is driven, Jill. If you could control how it is driven, you could control inflation to some extent. And if you can control how it is driven, if you can control, how it's the inhibitors. I've seen the US, I've watched the US. Right now, they're flexing their monetary policy in various ways. one of the key ways in which you can do this. Let me show you. One of the key ways in which you can control inflation by engineering it. It's not even on the fiscal side, as I heard Mr. Bramble explaining, but most on the monetary side. What the US does is that they tweak the interest rate, which is a primary tool. You might hear about a 1% increase, or you might hear about a 0.5% decrease, and they keep flexing the interest rate. Just recently, when inflation was taken off at a rocket, they were jacking up the interest rates. And I'm not going to go into the mechanics of how that works, but they jacked the interest rate, first of all, to drive to drive inflation down. And then sometimes if you jack it too much, you create a tendency towards depression. So they have to tweak it a little bit so that the downswing to pull back inflation does not continue into a depression. So they keep tweaking that. Frankly speaking, we don't have that ability to mess around with monetary policy. I mean, Fitz knows this. We don't even have a currency of our own. Our interest rates are not internally, our monetary interest rates are not internally determined. Fitz knows this. So the chief tool, Fitz, come back and tell us about this, please. The chief tool that other countries that we think are operating well and we look to, and the giant in economics is the US, then China and so on and so forth. But the giant is the US. So when we want to look at good practices, we want to look at the US. But even the giant US, with that tool, that awesome tool of monetary policy, sometimes can't get it right. And right now they can't get it right. And we in St. Vincent that don't even have that tool at our disposal. Somebody has said, what can us do? If we don't have, on the inhibitor side, if we don't have the tools, or we don't have control of the tools, what can we do? And I close with this. I think in listening to the discussion given by Dr. Justin Robinson, his presentation, I listened keenly, and he talked about the drivers. He talked about inflation is a reality. He talked about it, and he did not skirt around it. He admitted, Luke admitted, we have inflation. Can control the cost, push inflation. He also looked at how we can fix inflation, but I mean, there's very little that SIDS can do. Small island developing states can do with respect to the inflation major. But what he talked about, which I think needs a little bit more discussion, I think Fitz was getting into that this morning. And if I had time to interact with him, I would have asked him about this. The distribution of the impact of inflation. Notice what I just said. Even when you can't control inflation, which I think SIDS is foolhardy and is only for political mileage and leverage, you could talk about controlling inflation. So stop that. What is a better conversation and what policy could be directed to, and Dr. Justin Robinson spoke to this, is how do you distribute or better distribute the blow of inflation? He's talking about distributive justice, in case you're wondering. And that's where some of your fiscal tweaking can come in. Not that you're going to get rid of inflation, but the penalty of inflation, and this is what Dr. Justin Robinson was saying, the penalty of inflation hits the low-income earners hardest. And that is something that we can look at. Let us not keep talking about we're going to get rid of inflation. Let's talk a little bit more about policies in which we can redistribute the impact of inflation. And because my time is done, I can't say much more on that. I want to say something on another topic. I want to invite you guys that are listening, because the main thing, like I said, my thing in economics and all of that is a thing of the past. My thing today is improving lives and spirituality and all of that. So I invite you to listen to our broadcast from the Kingston Baptist Church or attend the Kingston Baptist Church. We have an interesting issue that we are dealing with this Sunday in worship, the music, the singing and all of that. And then the word this Sunday is going to be about stop putting burdens on the people. You don't want to miss this. stop weighing down the people. You don't want to miss this. Our service starts at 10 o'clock this Sunday morning. I know we're on multiple streaming platforms, but we'd rather you come in person to visit with us 10 o'clock, and we are located right outside the Botanical Gardens, white building outside the Botanical Gardens. A blessed day, everyone. Have a blessed and safe weekend.
All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Richards. And I do apologize, but I definitely had to step out a little bit there. There was no ifs, buts, or coconuts about that. But we always appreciate your
I tried my best. I tried my best to cut down this weekend, so I hope that worked.
Yes, thank you so much. And just for all of our listeners and clarification, I was actually sent a little added, and I definitely want to put it out there and get it right because it's very important. I don't want to misrepresent this initiative. Let me just go back. My phone is getting on my nerves. Yes, the cost of living tracker is basically it is just basically to monitor the impact of rising commodity prices on the standard of living in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and in hopes of having the government lower or try to lower the effects from that. All right, guys. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming through. Thank you so much for all your contributions. Those of you who come in on a daily basis, those of you who just come in at normal times because of preference or for whatever reasons. Do enjoy what's left. Shady, you're making me so hungry. Yes, do enjoy what's left of your day. Winston, everybody. Carlisle, Dwight, everybody, good day to you. Blessings from all of the various places that, all you guys from the various places that came through and gave your contribution. It's a Throwback Thursday. Do enjoy. Feel free to stay and enjoy the music. Those of you who can, enjoy the Shade Room. Randy, Trini Vinci, everybody, thank you so much for coming through and leaving your comments. Jill and DJ Shady saying stay blessed. And we love you and appreciate you. Until tomorrow, I gotta y'all know tomorrow is D-Day. 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 It's the last day tomorrow. I don't know if that's something I should celebrate. I don't know, but let me not. Maybe I should think twice about that. Let me not celebrate. Mwah. Sending some love and kisses to you, darling. Yes, I know y'all looking forward to the music. So Shady, let's go, man. We go. We out of here until you hear from us tomorrow.
When's the last time you heard styles like these?
Are you ready for party done?
Throwback Thursday. We giving you the best throwback, the anthems, and dance all great.